أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه من سن بسنتهم الدين أما بعد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا واجتنابه. اللهم إنا نسألك خير ما سألك عبدك ورسولك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ بك عبدك ورسولك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to our journey in the Quran. Alhamdulillah, we reached today to 29 juz. Today we are on the 29 juz of the Quran. It's a great blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa alaikum assalam, Brother Mubin, wa alaikum assalam, Brother Qasim, wa alaikum assalam, Brother Khurshid, wa alaikum assalam, Brother Harun. Alhamdulillah, it's a big blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has made us come all this far up to now, to this second last juz of the Quran. And then we have one more last juz tomorrow, Friday, inshallah, to complete this whole journey that we started on the first day of Ramadan. Actually, the day before Ramadan, on Thursday, we started. So we just want to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great blessing. Alhamdulillah. Today we have a lot of surahs to cover. Juz 29 has a lot of surahs. So we will try to go as fast as we can, inshallah, to cover all the surahs that we have uh, in this juz 29. This juz 29 is also known as a juz tabarak because of the first word and the first ayah of this first surah. Surah Mulk is the first surah in this juz, and that's why this juz is called juz tabarak. Surah Mulk is the 67th surah in the sequence of the Quran, and the first one here in Juz 29. Mulk means dominion, authority, power, universe, the whole essence of the whole creation. And that is why this surah has a lot of blessings and bounties on it. As in the hadith tell us that Rasul said to recite this surah, and this surah will be a companion in the grave of the person, protecting them from adhab al-qabr. And also this surah can be recited to get barakah and rizq. Because this surah is a Makki surah in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about his qudra, his taqa, his authority, his magnitude, and reminding the Quraysh to come back to Islam, leave the shirk. And that is why this surah has a lot of verses that are very powerful, and that's what mulk means. Mulk means authority, dominion, universe, and strength. So basically, Allah is saying, to whom belongs the strength, to whom belongs the whole, power and authority in this world, and that is Allah. No one is more powerful than Allah. Allah is the all-powerful, all-knowing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one and only that no one can challenge. So that's what Surah Mulk is. Let us start, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. First ayah, Surah Mulk 67. Tabarak alladhi biyadil mulku wa ala kulli shayin qadir. Glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in whose hand, biyadihil, does not mean literally, but it means in authority, in power. The whole world, the whole universe, not just the world, but the universe, the galaxy, the Milky Way, everything is in the authority of Allah subhanahu, in the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir, and Allah is all powerful and He is all able over everything and competent. Who is Allah, the Qadir? Allah says in the next ayah, Surah Mulk, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah is the one who created the death and then life, so that He may test you, which of you, O human beings, will be the best in their deeds and actions. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْغَفُورُ, and He is the mighty and forgiving. Notice how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this ayah, death first, al-maut, because we are not hayat first. You may think that, oh, we are alive first, then we die, then we are alive. So this life, Allah is not even taking into consideration. This life is nothing. This life is a temporary life. We already covered in Surah Rahman, Kullu man alayha fan, everything will be perished. So this life has no meaning in essence. This life is only a springboard, a launching pad for the real life, which is the life of Abadiyya, the life of eternity. And what is that? Jannah, Jannah. So Allah is saying, He, glory be to Him who created death, that we die here, wal hayat, and then we are alive. This is a very deep concept, brothers and sisters, that Allah SWT is telling us here, that look, you have to get your brain programmed that you want to live forever. And to live forever, to be immortal, you have to work hard here. Because this dunya, this and throughout the Quran, Allah said, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. And what is the essence of this dunya except that it's a deception of the eye, it's a mirage, it's an oasis, meaning it devours you, it detracts you, it deviates you. So the dunya has been created to make us forget akhirah. But successful are the people who remember akhirah while living in dunya. And that's why the real life starts from death over here. That is why when somebody, dies, we hear in dunya, we say, intaqala. It's an Urdu word and an Arabic word. It means intaqala ila jiwari rabbihi. Intaqala meaning transported, transferred. We have been transferred or transported into the next life, which is the real, essential life. In other words, Allah is saying, oh, you people, oh, you Quraysh, Meccans, who are always living here in this dunya, and always, wa alaikum assalam, brother Tayyib Abidin, and you're always busy in this dunya, oh, you people, you need to wake up and start thinking and focusing on akhirah, the hayatul abadiyya, the life forever that is there. Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. And then the other interpretation that many of us have said, that al-maut here means that we were dead before we came in this dunya. We were like nothing. It was just in a world of soul. And then we become a fetus, and then we become a child, we come in this dunya, so that is, coming into life. But majority of the opinion of the scholars is that the maut here refers to the death that we taste in this dunya, because of the other ayats in the Quran that Allah said, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul shall taste death. And either way, both of these interpretation is correct, in the sense that before we are coming in this dunya, we're in a dead situation, and then we come in this dunya. But here, Allah really is wanting us to work for the akhirah, for the next life. Number 3, Surah Mulk. الَّذِي خَلَقَ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا. Allah is the one who created the 7 heavens in levels, in stages, in layers, like Rasul went in Miraj, in the different levels of the heaven. مَا تَرَى فِي خَلْقِ الرَّحْمَنِ مِنْ تَفَاوُتٍ. You will not see, O human being, in the creation of Allah, the most merciful, any inconsistency. Tafawut meaning you will not find any discrepancy. That, one thing is crooked, one thing is this, or one thing does not match the other, the sun, the moon, the stars, the galaxy, the planets. Everything is in a symmetry. Everything is in perfection, precision. Utmost precision. That is the beauty of Allah's creation. فَارْجِعِ الْبَصَرَ هَلْ تَرَى مِنْ فُطُورٍ. So return your eyes. Meaning, look around the whole world. Allah is saying, look around your whole universe, in the day, in the night, or whenever. And whenever you turn around your eyesight, you bring it all 180 degrees around. فَارْجِعِ الْبَصَرَ هَلْ تَرَى مِنْ فُطُورٍ. Do you see anywhere, when you're moving a 180 degree eyesight, do you see anywhere around the world any kind of breaks, or any kind of openings? Fatur comes from fatara, which literally means like a crack. So Allah is saying, do you see any cracks, or any openings, or any discrepancy, any kind of absurdities when you move your eye all around the world, as you see everywhere? Do you see any kind of inconsistency or anything in the world? هل ترى من فطور? Of course not. The answer is كلا, no way. Number 4, Surah Mulk, we are in 67. ثم ارجع البصر كرتين. Then return your eyes again towards where you are seeing, كرتين, second time. ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير. Your vision will return to you, and you'll be humbled with with the seeing of the beautiful creations of Allah. And by seeing so much, you'll get so tired, like doze off. You're seeing everything. Allah is saying, look around the world, look everything. And you will, oh insan, get tired of looking and looking, because Allah's creations is infinite, is humongous. That is why astronomers in NASA and scientists over there, they are continuously exploring the galaxy. They're continuously exploring the outer space of our whole space, and they're amused, with their telescopes and big radars and whatnot. They are looking at these images. That's a whole big science itself, astronomy. That is, it's just nerve wracking and full of awe when you appreciate Allah. That, oh, Allah has created all these beautiful things. We're just thinking of the world, the dunya, the earth. We're just thinking of this earth, but there's so many other beautiful things out there outside earth, in the Milky Way, in the galaxy, that Allah is referring to that. وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. Again, like we mentioned in the previous ayats, in the surahs before, Allah mentioned already that He has made the stars, the shooting star, like that the angels use to repel the jinns who want every night, they want to penetrate up to the heavens to listen and eavesdrop and listen what order Allah is giving to the angels, so that they can come back. These jinns can come back, and then in connivance with their human beings here, because the bad jinns are in connection with the bad human beings here on earth, like magicians and sorcerers, and they communicate with each other. They ask the jinn, oh, bring me some knowledge, bring me some ilm, what is there about the future? So majority of this jinn get thrown away. 99.99% of them get repelled. Maybe 1 in a million or 1 in a trillion may get through, and that has some information, and that also limited information then transfers it to the human being. So Allah is referring to that in verse number 5. وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ وَجَعَلْنَاهَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينِ. And we have certainly beautified, adorned, glamorized the sky, sama dunya, bimasabih, with stars. Masabih is a plural of misbah. Misbah is like a lamp. So Allah is saying these are little lamps that are learning, like, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I guess that's what they took it from here, inshallah. I can think so. And so Allah is saying, made these stars, جَعَلْنَا رُجُومًا لِلشَّيَاطِينَ. We made these stars a pebble for the shayateen, like a stoning, so that they repel together. Like the Shahab and Saqib Allah mentioned in the previous surahs, like in Nahl and other places. وَعَدَّدْنَا لَهُمْ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ. And we have made for them a blazing punishment of the hellfire. Number 6, Surah Mulk, we are in. وَلِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ عَذَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَبِئْسَ الْمَصِيرُ. And for those who disbelieve in their Lord is the punishment of hell, and wretch is the destination for them. إِذَا أُلْقُوا فِيهَا سَمِعُوا لَهَا شَهِيقًا وَهِيَ تَفُورُ. And when they are thrown into it, they will be dreadful inhaling while it is boiling up, the Jahannam fire. تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْثِ. It almost bursts with rage. كُلَّمَا أُلْقِيَ فِيهَا فَوْجٌ سَأَلَهُمْ خَزَنَتُهَا أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَذِيرٌ. Every time a company is thrown into it, its keepers ask them, did there not come to you a warner? Meaning the angels of the hellfire. They ask the people who are being thrown into the hellfire that, didn't a warner come to you? Why are you being thrown here? And they say, yes, قَالُوا بَلَا قَدْ جَاءَنَا نَذِيرٌ. Yes, we did get a warner. We did get a prophet, a messenger coming and telling us. فَكَذَّبْنَا. We denied him. We belittled him. We rejected him. We didn't accept him. وَقُلْنَا مَا نَزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. And we said to him, what is Allah has not sent down anything with you. This is all a false and lie, referring to the scriptures that those prophets brought. إِنْ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ كَبِيرٍ. Verily you are in nothing but a great error today, on this day. And then these people in the hellfire, they will be complaining. They'll be confessing, actually. They'll be confessing. And what are they confessing? They'll say, وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ وَنَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. They'll say, had we only listened and reasoned, لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ. If we listen to the prophets and messengers, and if we process that information, analyze in our brain, understood about it, intellectually thought about it, مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. We would not be here right now in Jahannam, in this hellfire, because the only thing we didn't do is we did not listen and we did not pay attention. These two faculties are very important for success to Jannah. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding the people here, to tell them that, look, your success to Jannah is only through listening to the kalam of Allah and then processing it, aql, naqil, using the aql to process it. Just reading the kalam is no good. That's the reason we have this class. We have been doing this class for the last 29 days. Why? Because we want to understand the kalam of Allah. We don't want to just recite the Arabic of the Quran and just keep reciting like a parrot, like a parrot or a bird, brrrr, and we don't understand what's going on. And that is what the people in the Jahannam fire will be saying. لو كنا نسمع ونعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير. If we could listen, if we would have listened and we could have thought about what we listened, Allah is saying here, you don't just have to listen to the Quran or listen to the scripture. You have to also aql, you have to process it, understand it, comprehend it. Because when you comprehend it, then there is nothing stopping you from obeying it. Obedience, ta'ah. How does obedience come, my dear and sister Islam? It's very simple and easy. Obedience. You will see that person more obedient in Islam, the one who understands the Quran better. And the one who doesn't understand Quran better will be less obedient. So there's like a variance. You can have a barometer, a pressure measurement gauge. The one who understands more of the Quran will be more obedient. The one who understands less of the Quran, they just memorize some surahs and ayat, that's it, but they don't understand what it means. They'll be less obedient because they don't understand what they've memorized. It doesn't sink in. It has to penetrate. And that is what, alhamdulillah, we've been doing from 4 to 6 every day for the last 29 days. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadah. May Allah accept this effort, this work that we have done together as a group, as a team. And may Allah make this effort for us a najat from hellfire. We ask Allah, we beseech Allah that He use this amal, this work that we did every day in Ramadan from 4 to 6. Allah use this as a source of saving us from hellfire and a means for us to enter Jannat al-Firdaus, the A'la Maqam. Say Ameen, my dear sisters and brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum, assalam, Sister Fatiha, inshallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, the next ayah, Surah Mulk, number 11, فَاعْتَرَفُوا بِذَنْبٍ فَسُحْقًا لِأَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ, and they will admit their sin in the hellfire and alienation for the companions of the blaze, of the hellfire. They'll be there in alienation, nobody there to help them, assist them. Number 12, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَخْشَوْنَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَيْبِ لَهُمْ مَغْفِرَةٌ وَأَجْرٌ كَبِيرٌ. Indeed, those people who fear their Lord in the unseen and they will have forgiveness and reward and a great reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 13, Surah Mulk we are in. وَأَسِرُّوا قَوْلَكُمْ أَوْ اجْهَرُوا بِهِ إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Conceal your speech or publicize it. Indeed, Allah is knowing what is in your chest, what you're hiding inside. He knows everything. أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. Does He the one who created you, don't you know who your creator is? And He is the subtle one and the acquainted one. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا. He is the one, Allah, who made the earth for you, spread out and calm down. Meaning ذلولا mean that it is a base, it is flat out, it's spread, it's flat, it's easy to live on. فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا. It's easy for you to walk on this earth. Imagine if the whole earth was topsy-turvy, like hilly kind of thing. So you would not have any flat land, any straight land. So you can't build roads, you can't build buildings. I mean, you can, but it will be very difficult and very humongous task. So Allah is saying, think about this, that the earth, a majority of the earth is a flat piece of land that you can inhabit easily, you can live. And yes, there are some mountainous area and hilly and plateau areas also. فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. So walk into the slopes of this land, walk into the plateaus and hills of this land and eat from the risk that Allah has given in this land for you. وَإِلَيْهِ النُّشُورُ. And to Him will you be returning on the day of judgment from the graves. Number 16, أَأَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ أَنْ يَخْسِفَ بِكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فَإِذَا هِيَ تَمُورُ. Do you feel secure that the one who holds authority in the heavens and earth would not cause the earth to swallow you up and suddenly you would be gone away, vanished, evaporated? Meaning Allah is saying it's very easy for Him. In a snap, He can make the earth swallow all of you. What are you thinking, O insan, that you cannot be drowned in the earth? It is just purely and utmost mercy of Allah that He has allowed you to stay up on earth and the earth has not swallowed you. Remember the hadith I mentioned before in the previous week about Rasulullah saying that the earth requesting Allah to swallow up the people, or the sky requesting from Allah that the sky would shower down on the people and destroy them, and the mountains also requesting. So that is something to remember over here. 17, Surah Mulk, we are in. أَمْ أَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ أَنْ يُرْسِلَ عَلَيْكُمْ حَاسِبًا فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ كَيْفَ نَذِيرٌ. Or do you feel secure that he who holds authority of the heavens and earth would not send against you a storm of stones? Then you would know how severe his warning is. Allah's warning, he can send rain down stones upon us. When hailstorm comes in, we can see a glimpse of that. These big golf-sized hails raining down, it breaks the glasses of the cars and things, and that it spoils everything, that hail. So Allah is saying, if he can send a hailstorm, he can send a stone storm, much more rock solid, that would destroy all inhabitation here on earth. 18, وَلَقَدْ كَذَّبَ الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِهِمْ فَكَيْفَ كَانَ نَكِيرِ. And already a lot of the people before them had denied Allah and denied their messengers, and how terrible were their recompense and their return on earth. 19, أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَوْقَهُمْ صَافَّاتٍ وَأَقْبَالٍ. Do they not see the birds above them, how they are flying with their wings spread out like this, and sometimes it's folded? مَا يُمْسِكُنَّ إِلَّا الرَّحْمَنُ. No one holds them except, no one holds the birds up there except Ar-Rahman. Allah is attributing to it that, look, don't think that the bird can glide and fly on its own. Yes, Allah has given the bird wings, but the wings and the flight of the bird is a sign of the qudra of Allah, a sign of the mercy of Allah, Allah's rahmaniyah. Otherwise, the birds would just fall down flat. إِنَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ بَصِيرٌ. These ayats are provoking the Quraysh, the Meccans who are listening this for the first time. It's provoking them to think about Allah, to connect with Allah, to have a ta'alluq with Allah, to realize that Allah is the one who creates everything. Allah is the one who is the master of everything, and He has control of everything. So they better repent and return to Allah by believing in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why these ayats are very questioning. You'll see that each one of them is like a question to the Quraysh, so that they begin to search the answer that, yeah, you have a point, that's right. Number 20, أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي هُوَ جُنْدٌ لَكُمْ يَنْصُرُكُم مِّن دُونِ رَحْمَنٍ. Is it that who is it that could be an army for you to aid other than the most merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Meaning there is no other army. Nobody can save you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why, O Quraysh, do not try to go against Allah. Innal kafirun illa fi ghurur. Innal kafirun illa fi ghurur. Verily the disbelievers are in a just delusion, in illusion. They are in some kind of dozing off. They don't realize the reality. Amman hadha alladhi yarzuqukum min amsaka rizqa. Or is he who is it that would provide for you a rizq? Meaning, who is there besides Allah that would provide for you risk if He holds it? Do you have any other God besides Allah who can give you risk if Allah decides to hold the risk back for us? But laju fi utuwwin nufur. But they have persisted in their disobedience, in their arrogance and insolence, and nufur meaning mutanafir, meaning aversion, diversion, deviation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 22, أَفَمَنْ يَمْشِي مُكِبٍّ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ أَهْدَى أَمَّنْ يَمْشِي سَوِيًّا عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. Then is the one who walks fallen on his face better guided than the one who walks straight up on the straight path, sawiyan, up straight. So someone walking down on the ground, with their face down, they'll bump into things. So is that person equal to the one who's walking up straight and be able to see what's going on and can manage its navigation? Comparison that Allah is giving, so to make them realize that, look, the one who has guidance is like the one who's watching and realizing where we're going, what's happening. And the one who does not have guidance, the one who doesn't listen to Quran, is like someone walking on their face. They're gonna get, they're gonna get destroyed. They're gonna get bumped into something, and they're gonna get hurt, and they're gonna harm themselves. Number 23, قُلْ هُوَ الَّذِي أَنْشَأَكُمْ وَجَعَلَ لَكُمُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ وَالْأَفْئِدَةَ قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ. Say, He is the one who has produced and for you and made for you hearing and vision and hearts. Little are you grateful. You very little thanks you give to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 24, Surah Mulk, we are in. قُلْ هُوَ الَّذِي ذَرَعَكُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَإِلَيْهِ تُحْشَرُونَ. Say, He is the one who multiplied for you throughout the earth, and to Him you will be gathered. Number 25, وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. And they ask you, when is this promise if you should be truthful? قُلْ إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ عِندَ اللَّهِ إِنَّمَا أَنَا نَذِيرٌ مُبِينٌ. Say to them that the knowledge is only with Allah, and I'm only a clear warner from Him to you as a prophet. And 27, فَلَمَّا رَأَوْا زُلْفَةً سِيئَتْ وُجُوهُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَقِيلَ هَذَا الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ بِهِ تَدَّعُونَ. But when they see it approaching, and the faces of those who disbelieve will be distressed, and will be said, that is what you used to call upon. قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to them that have you thought about it? Have you considered that whether if Allah should cause my death and those with me and or have mercy upon us, who can protect the disbelievers from a painful punishment? And this is in return to the accusation they said to that, why doesn't Allah, get rid of you? Why doesn't He kill you or get rid of you, give you death? And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring that, if He gives him death and takes him back, then who's going to, save you from the punishment of the hellfire? In other words, Rasul is here to save you from the hellfire punishment. 29, قُلْ هُوَ الرَّحْمَنُ آمَنَّا بِهِ وَعَلَيْهِ تَوَكَّلْنَا. Say that He is Allah the Rahman, the most merciful. We believe in Him and upon Him we rely. فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ هُوَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. You will surely know in the Akhirah, in the Day of Judgment, who was in utter error, grave misguidance. Number 30, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَصْبَحَ مَاؤُكُمْ غَوْرًا فَمَنْ يَأْتِيكُم بِمَاءٍ مَعِينٍ. Say, have you thought about it, that if your water becomes all dried up in the land, it goes way, way down. غَوْرًا means that it becomes dry, it goes sunken in. It sinks in. The water table in the earth goes way down. You know how we dig wells in the earth to get water out. Sometimes you dig just 50 feet and you get water, sometimes 100, sometimes 200. Sometimes you dig all the way up to 500 feet, 1,000 feet down deep in the ground, and you still don't get any water. That means the water table has gone down. That is what Allah is saying, that if we make your water dry on the earth, where will you get water from? Sweet water, well water that you can drink. فَمَنْ يَأْتِكُم بِمَاءٍ مَعِينٍ. Who will bring for you a good flowing water that you can drink water with it? Subhanallah. These are ayahs to make the Quraysh ponder and make all of us also ponder and think about the creations of Allah, and think about Allah's qudra and satata and His magnitude and His magnanimity, that we return to Him and repent to Him. The whole purpose of this Surah Mulk ayats was to shake and jolt up the human soul to become inclined and humble towards Allah. If Surah Mulk cannot make us human beings humble, then there's nothing in this world that can make us humble towards Allah, because the verses here are so powerful and so piercing into the mind and heart of the person. 68, next surah we move on to in Juz 29. 68 is Surah Noon or Surah Qalam. Two names are there. It's called Surah Noon because of the first letter in the surah, Noon. And it's also called Surah Qalam because of the second word in this ayah, in this surah, it is Qalam. Because Allah is talking about the pen. Allah is talking about the pen, the qalam with which we write. He's swearing by that. Noon wal qalami wa ma yastarun. Noon, and by the pen with which you write, inscribe. Meaning Allah is swearing by the pen to make them realize an important concept that's coming. Remember, we said this many times, that Allah swears in the Quran by His creations, and the reason He swears by the Quran in His by the different things in the Quran by His creation is to emphasize and stress the point that's coming after the oath, the qasam. Here, the verse number 2 that is in Surah Qalam, that is the message, the reason why Allah swear by the pen, and that is to respond to the Quraysh and retaliate to them, because they had accused Rasulullah of being madman, majnoon. So Allah responding to that no, he's not. Ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bi majnoon. You are not by the favors of your Lord a madman, O Prophet Muhammad sallam. What they are accusing you of is wrong. It's all futile. It's rubbish. And it does not make you in any way what they are talking to you about it, being majnoon, being mad. وَإِنَّ لَكَ الْأَجْرَ غَيْرَ مَمْنُونَ. Verily for you there is a ajr of Muhammad sallam which will be uninterrupted, unending, infinity, until in Jannah forever ever. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. And verily you are on a very high pedestal of moral character, very high standard and benchmark and threshold of character. فَسَتُبْصِرُ وَيُبْصِرُونَ. So you will see and they will see. بِأَيِّكُمُ الْمَفْتُونُ. Which of you will be afflicted by the devil, meaning saved from the attract by the devil here, so that he would take you towards hellfire. Inna rabbaka huwa a'lamu biman dhalla an sabili huwa a'lamu bil muhtadin. Really, your Lord is very well aware and knowing of the people who go astray from His path and those who are guided to His path. فَلَا تُطِعِ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ. So do not obey the liars. Do not obey the people who lie to you or deny reject the Quran. وَدُّوا لَوْ تُدْهِنُوا فَيُدْهِنُونَ. They wish that they would be softened in your position, but so they would be softened towards you. وَلَا تُطِعْ كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ, and do not obey every worthless habitual swearer, the one who keeps swearing. Halaf is from halaf, the one who keeps swearing all the time. That, oh, I swear by Allah, I swear by this, I swear by the Quran, I swear. So don't, that person is a habitual liar, because that's why they're swearing. So don't follow them. حَمَّاذٍ بِمَشَّاءٍ بِالنَّمِيمٍ, that person is an evil person because he is the one who's a scorner and going about with malicious gossip. Namima is like gossiping around, slandering people. Hammaz is like ridiculing people, and insulting them, talking behind their back, like backbiting. Masha is someone who's walking, meaning this person who's walking around the streets with two things, hamz and nam. Both of them are negative and bad. Manna' lil khair, this person who's doing backbiting and rumor mongering and slandering, is someone also who is manna, who is a preventer of good, who holds back, who withdraws, who's like a stingy person for goodness. He holds back khair. Manna' lil khair. Mu'tadim athim. I'tad means someone who transgressed the boundaries, the rules of Allah, the hudud. Athim, that is someone who sin, ithim, is involved, engaged in sin. Amazing vocabulary of the Quran depicting the personality of the person. عُتُلٍّ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ زَنِيمٍ, and this person is cruel and wicked, merciless. This is بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ زَنِيمٍ, and they are an illegitimate pretender, pretending that they are someone who's righteous. Number 14, أَنْ كَانَ ذَا مَالٍ وَبَنِينَ, because he is a possessor of, he assumes that he is a possessor of good and wealth and children in this world, but that is not the case for him. 15, وَإِذَا تُتْلَىٰ عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا قَالَ أَسَاطِيرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ, and when our signs are recited to them, they say that this is just the tales of the past, ancient civilization, nothing big, nothing important for us, it's just story and fiction. سَنَسِمُ عَلَى الْخُرْطُومِ, we will bring them on their noses. Khurtum means a nose, but here it's referring to that they'll be brought they'll be dragged towards the hellfire on their noses or from their front side. إِنَّ بَلَوْنَهُ كَمَا بَلَوْنَا أَصْحَابَ الْجَنَّةِ إِذْ أَقْسَمُوا لَيَصْرِمُنَّهَا مُصْبِحِينَ, indeed we have tried them as we tried the companions of the garden when they swore to cut its fruit in the early morning. This is referring to the people who rejected the prophets before. وَلَا يَسْتَثْنُونَ, without making exception. فَطَافَ عَلَيْهِ طَائِفٌ مِّن رَبِّكَ وَهُمْ نَائِمُونَ, so there came upon the garden affliction from your Lord while they were asleep. فَأَصْبَحْتُ كَالصَّرِيمِ, and so they became through it all destroyed. فَنَادَوْا مُصْبِحِينَ, and they were calling upon each other in the morning after they saw the destruction of the garden. أَنِ اغْدُوا عَلَى حَرْثِكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَارِمِينَ, go early to your crop if you would cut the fruit from it. فَانْطَلِقُوا وَهُمْ يَتَخَافَتُونَ, so they set out while lowering their voices. أَلَّا يَدْخُلَنَّهَا الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِسْكِينٌ, that they'll surely not enter today upon you a poor person. وَغَدَوْا عَلَى حَرْدٍ قَادِرِينَ, and they went early in determination, assuming themselves that they're able to do it. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهَا قَالُوا إِنَّا لَضَالُونَ, when they saw it, they said, indeed we are lost. بَلْ نَحْنُ مَحْرُومُونَ, but we are deprived because the garden was destroyed, the crops were destroyed. قَالَ أَوْسَطُهُمْ أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكُمْ لَوْلَا تُسَبِّحُونَ, the most moderate of them said that, didn't I not tell you, why don't you glorify Allah, why don't you exalt Allah, He would have saved you from this garden's destruction. قَالُوا سُبْحَانَ رَبِّنَا إِنَّا كُنَّا ظَالِمِينَ, they said, exalted is our Lord, indeed we were wrongdoers. فَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَلَاوَمُونَ, then each one of them is approaching each other and blaming each other that it's because of you that we got the wrath of Allah. قَالُوا يَا وَيْلَنَا إِنَّا كُنَّا طَاغِينَ, they said, woe be to us, indeed we are transgressors. عَسَى رَبُّنَا يُبْدِلَنَا خَيْرًا مِنْهَا إِنَّا إِلَىٰ رَبِّنَا رَاغِبُونَ, perhaps our Lord will substitute for us better than this that is destroyed our garden. Indeed we are toward our Lord desiring and returning for Him. كَذَلِكَ الْعَذَابُ, this is how the punishment of the world is. وَالْعَذَابُ الْآخِرَ أَكْبَرُ, but the punishment of the hereafter is even bigger and more greater. لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ, if they only knew about this. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ عِندَ رَبِّهِمْ جَنَّاتِ النَّعِيمِ, verily the believers, the righteous people, will be with their Lord in the gardens of pleasure in Jannah, Jannah of Firdaus. أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ, do you want, then should we treat the Muslims like the criminals, just in equal? Of course they are different, they cannot be equal. مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ, what is wrong with you? How are you judging? What kind of criteria you have to judge between people? أَمْ لَكُمْ كِتَابٌ فِيهِ تَدْرُسُونَ, or do you have a book in which you are studying, some kind of scripture? إِنَّ لَكُمْ فِيهِ لَمَا تَخَيَّرُونَ, indeed then for you is whatever you choose. If you want to choose a book that you have from your own, if you don't want to choose the Quran that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought. 39 أم لكم أيمان علينا بالغة إلى يوم القيامة إن لكم لما تحكمون, or do you have any kind of oath binding upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you, extending until the day of judgment, that indeed for you is whatever you judge? Meaning, how are you coming with this idea? Do you think you have some kind of protection from Allah? Salhum ayyuhum bidhalika za'im. Ask them which of them will be responsible for this, what this rejection of the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who is their za'im? Za'im means a leader, meaning who will be the leader amongst them to take the responsibility of this rejection of the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is bringing to them. 41 أم لهم شركاء فليأتوا بشركائهم إن كانوا صادقين. If they have any partners, let them bring their partners if they are really truthful to defend them against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 42 يوم يكشف عن ساق يدعون إلى السجود فلا يستطيعون. The day the shin will be uncovered and they are invited to the prostration by the disbelievers, but the disbelievers will not be able to do that. Meaning on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask all the disbelievers to make sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they will not be able to do it because they never did sajda in the dunya, in the earth. And because of that, their spine will become like a rod, like a steel. So even if they want to make sajda on the day of judgment, they will not be able to do that because of the stiffness of the back. And that is why. And here, some people misinterpret, saying that, oh, it's talking about the shin of Allah. That's like giving Allah body parts, but that's shirk. Saq here means when yukshafu means to make something apparent. Yukshafu and saq here is referring to that when the stress of that day, the stress of hisab kitab will be made apparent to them, and then they'll be asked to make sajda to Allah, then they will not be able to do that because of the stress of the disobedience and rejection that they have seen in their own books written there. Their backs will become rock solid like a metal rod. خاشية أبصارهم ترهقهم ذلة. 43, their eyes are humble and humiliation will cover them, and they used to be invited to prostration while they were sound. They were called to make prostration in dunya to Allah, but they did not do it. They did it to the idols and statues. So now it's too late for them. فَذَرْنِي وَمَنْ يُكَذِّبُ بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ. So leave me, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning leave it upon Allah, leave it upon His duty, His responsibility. It's Allah's duty that whoever denies this Quran, Allah will take care of him. And how He will do it? سَنَسْتَدْرِجُهُم مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Allah will test them. Istidraj means testing them in a very progressive way to bring punishment upon them. Istidraj is what ulama say, that the one who's going to be punished, doesn't realize that he's being punished, because first the bounties and blessings start coming upon him, and then suddenly Allah grips them and seizes them in the midst of their bounty and blessing, that they are shocked and stunned. That is the meaning of istidraj that is used in the Quran many times and over here. وَأُمْلِي لَهُمْ, and I'll give them some time, before we make the punishment to them, they'll get the blessings and things and all that, until the time comes for them to be grabbed, and they will be like. The best way to understand this ayah, brothers and sisters in Islam, is look at all the Muslim leaders. They're enjoying, they're basking in the luxuries that Allah has. Who has given them all this authority? Who has given them all these luxuries and wealth of life? It's Allah. Allah has allowed it for them to have it, but that is a test for them. They don't realize. You see these leaders smiling and grinning, the pictures and photo ops on news channels and all that. From their face, you feel like they are the most happiest people on the earth, but they're not. This is istidraj. Allah is giving them just a muhla, umli lahum. We are just giving them a small respite of time. Inna kaydi mateen. Allah is saying our plan is very firm and strong, meaning when boom, we take them. Look what happened to Hosni Mubarak. Look what happened to Saddam Hussein. I mean, we can name on and on these different leaders that came in the history of the Muslim world, in different dictators, different, tyrants. Yes, they may all be looking very happy and merry with the treasures and loves and things that they had, but they will not be able to understand. They will not be. These people did not realize and understand that they were all being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is telling them in the Quran that you will be in great punishment in the akhirah one day because of this, and that is what they don't realize. And Allah says in verse 46, Am tas'aluhum ajran fahum min maghrabi masqalun, or do you ask of them any kind of return or payment, any kind of help, so that they are burdened? Meaning, why are they not believing in you, Muhammad sallam? Are you burdening them? This is like a sarcastic way of telling the Quraysh, what's stopping you from believing in Muhammad sallam? Did he ask you for some money, some payment? Did he say that give so much money, then you'll believe? He's not asking you anything. All he's asking you is just believe in Allah. It's all free. أَمْ عِنْدَهُمُ الْغَيْبُ فَهُمْ يَكْتُبُونَ? Or is it that they have knowledge about the unseen, that they're writing it down, and that's why they're not believing in Allah and believing in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and believing in Quran? What is it? What's the thing? See, these short ayats and short surahs, they are like pounding on the Meccans with question, interrogation, because questioning, when you pose questions, questioning brings questioning churns up your mind. When you ask a question to somebody, they start thinking. So when they start thinking, the mind cycle, the brain cycle starts working and formulating, starting on that. Walaikum salam, Brother Yasin. So it's very important to understand that, to realize that the ijaz of the Quran, the miracle of the Quran is that it forces the person to think and ponder. And when you force someone to think and ponder, it opens up their knots. There's like knots, like a rope, you tie a knot. There are knots on their head. They start opening up slowly, one after another. And that is the fiqh of da'wah. That is the usloob of da'wah. The etiquettes and manner of da'wah is, brothers and sisters, you don't need to force anyone to believe in Quran, believe in Islam. You just pose questions to them. Then, have you thought about this? Have you considered this? Did you, worry about this? Did you give it a thought? These kind of things, it will provoke the person. Even we can give da'wah to our relatives, those who are Muslims, Muslims who are far away from the deen. If you have any relative, any friend that you see is very far from the deen, not practicing, pose them these questions, like the one Allah poses here in Surah Mulk and Surah Qalam here. Pose them the question, have you ever thought about reading the meanings of the Quran? Did you ever read the meanings of the Quran? Did you ever ponder on the meanings of the Quran? Did you ever ponder on the words of the Quran? What does Allah say? When you pose these things, and they start picking up the Quran and start reading it with the question that you've asked them, it will untie their knots inside, which was stopping them. Because remember, shaitan comes and ties knots on our frontal lobe, on our brain, to stop us, to obscure us from thinking about Allah and Quran and Akhir and all of that. And that is what Allah is referring to them here. Verse 48, Surah Qalam, we are in Surah 68. فَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ وَلَا تَكُنْ كَصَاحِبِ الْحُوتِ إِذْ نَادَىٰ وَهُوَ مَكْظُومٌ. So, O you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be patient with the order of your Lord, with the hukum of your Lord. And don't be like the person, Allah is reminding Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam here, that don't be like your brother, prophet in Islam, Yunus alayhi salam. Don't be like the Sahib al-Ut. Don't be like the companion of the fish who got in it. Is nada wa magzoom, when he was calling and he was in distress. Because what does Allah mean by here telling Muhammad sallam, our prophet Muhammad sallam, that don't be like him? Meaning, don't desert your people, don't leave Mecca, in anger. Like Yunus alayhi salam, Sahib al-Ud, Yunus alayhi salam left his people. He was frustrated. He said, it's no use talking to you guys. Forget it. I'm leaving. And he left in anger. So then he ended up in the belly of the fish. So Allah is saying to Rasul sallam, be patient, fasbir. Don't become impatient. So the lesson that we learned from Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, he became impatient with his people. And whenever we become impatient from anything, Allah then tests us heavily. So Allah tested Yunus alayhi salam heavily by putting him in the belly of the fish. So Allah is reminding Muhammad sallam that, look, you already know about your brother Yunus alayhi salam, so don't be like him. Have patience with the Quraysh. Talking about patience, subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, when Allah says to his prophets, have patience, Allah is saying indirectly to the prophets and to all of us, me and you who's reading the Quran. Allah is saying, look at my patience. Look at Allah. He's as-sabir, as-sabur. Allah is sabur. He is extremely patient with his slave. There are people on this earth who deny Allah, atheists, who say there is no God, and Allah is so patient with them. There are people who take the son of God. They say this is God's son. They worship them as God's son, and Allah is patient with them. Think about it. Amazing. Wow. It's just wow. Amazing. It opens up your mind that we as human beings, we become impatient. We as parents sometimes, I'm guilty of that too. You may be guilty too. As parents, we become impatient with the children, when they're nagging and whining and complaining and pestering you. You become, that's it. Get out. You're go in your room. You're grounded, or you're grounded for good, or things like that. We become impatient. Allah is saying patience is the key to turn someone. If people are rigid and timid and stubborn, you can't change them through impatience. You can't change them through growling and raising voice and yelling and screaming. You can't change them. They're already munjamid, as we say in Arabic, we say munjamid. They are like stoned, isolated, stuck. stiff. The key to opening stiff hearts, the key to opening stone-headed people is patience, sabr. It starts opening slowly, slowly, slowly. Have you ever seen those flower buds? You know, brother and sister, have you seen those flower? Like it's spring season coming on now. I know a lot of people will be planting, you know, plants in their gardens and all that. When you see, how do you know a flower is gonna come out? You see a bud over there first in the plant, in the branch of it. You see a bud, you say, oh look, I think there's some flowers going to be coming soon. That bud is a sign it's going to open. And now, does the flower come right away like that? I mean, you're standing there, come on, open, open. I want to see you, rose, jasmine, lily, open, you know, whatever you are, daffodils, whatever flower you are, open. If you stand there whole night, it's not going to open. It has a time. The bud will slightly open, spurt a little bit, then a little bit, then a little bit, then a... You come the next morning and say, whoa, subhanallah, look at that beautiful rose in our garden. Yeah, yesterday it was nothing. Yesterday you were impatient. You were giving up. You were about to throw that plant away. You know, forget it. I'm going to go complain to that nursery guy. Why he gave me a bad plant? No roses coming out. That is the key, the patience. Be patient. They will come. Be patient with your son and daughter. They will come to what you want them to be on the deen. Be patient with your parents. They will come. They'll come to the deen of Quran. Slowly, slowly. Just got to be patient with them. Be patient with your cousins, your siblings who are not on the deen. Be patient and keep reminding them. Keep telling them. They will come like the flower spurts slowly and slowly. Once the flower blossoms and blooms, then you feel so happy. You say, that's my work. I worked so hard on that flower. I put water, I put fertilizer, I put this, I put this medicine. And now when you see that, you know that satisfaction, that feeling, brothers and sisters, you know that feeling that you get, I worked so hard, this is my result. In the same way, Allah is saying to his Prophet, "Fasbir li hukmi rabbik." Be patient, be patient. Don't be like Yunus al-Islam that he just ran away. Yunus al-Islam did not get to see the fruit of his work. Allah. He did not see the flower. Yunus al-Islam did not see the flower because he was in the belly of the fish. He could not see how his ummah, his whole qawm said, La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Brothers and sisters, this is a very deep ayah, deep concept. I hope I'm doing justice to make you understand. Just remember the example of the flower. The flower doesn't just come up right away. I know some people like to go buy a whole flower plant, but the best thing is to buy the seed of that flower plant, sow it in your garden, and then give water to it, give fertilizer to it, see how it sprouts up, then see how it comes up, then look at the bud that first comes out. That patience, you know, bringing people towards Deen of Islam is like a gardener. And that's why not everybody's a gardener. You need a lot of patience for it. You know, a lot of retired people, you tell them, you're retired, why don't you become a gardener? Oh, I don't have the patience for that, man. I can't work so hard in that grass and ground and all of that too. I want things fast. Why? Because innal insana khuliqa halua. Allah said that insan has been created impatient. And that's why, you know, that's why it's more than, I think more than 30 times, if I'm not mistaken, more than 30 times in the Quran, Allah keeps saying, fasbir, fasbir, you know, isbir, sabr, 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 sabr. Because sabr brings the reward. And look at the sabr of Ayyub al-Islam, how patient he was, what Allah gave him. Look at the sabr of our Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was patient and patient. 13 years he was patient. Finally, then Allah said, okay, enough is enough. Now you can hijrah, move. Subhanallah. So, brothers and sisters, if you have any friend, any relative, any cousin who is not on Islam, give them da'wah and be patient. Remember, you are their gardener. Work on them. Make dua for them. Advise them. Teach them. Educate them. Remind them. Keep being patient with them, but never give up on them. Don't write off people. They will come. One day they will come. I'm telling you from my own experience. Believe you me, I have my own close relatives, you know, blood relatives who are so far away from the deen. And I kept making dua for them in tahajjud, in the middle of the night, in every salah, 5 daily salah, and talking to them and giving them advice. Today, after so many decades have passed, some of them are so mutadayyan, so religious, that even I scratch my head and said, wow, where did this come from? This person, you know, this person, he or she was so far away. They were like away from Quran, away from the deen. And now, mashallah, they are so active and working and helping Islam and promoting Islam. I mean, if you look at the fruit of your effort, sometimes you get really, really baffled. You're like, wow, how did that happen? Patience. فاصبر لحكم ربك ولا تكن كصاحب الحوت إذ نادى وهو مكذوم. When he called and he was مكذوم, he was in distress in the middle of the fish over there. 49. لولا أن تداركوا نعمة من ربي لنبذ بالعراء وهو مذموم. Allah is saying, had we not given Yunus al-Islam our favor, if the favor did not overtake him, he would have been thrown into the naked shore while he was censured, reprimanded by Allah. Meaning that fish that came and put Yunus al-Islam back on earth would not have done that. It would have just thrown in the water and he would have drowned. If he did not do what? Tasbih, which is another hidden concept here. Allah is saying that when you feel that you are in the grip of the azab of Allah, when you feel that you are in sudden seizure of Allah's accountability, increase tasbih, increase your tasbih, your glorification of Allah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allah, increase your istighfar, astaghfirullah. Like we are in this pandemic for the last 2 months now. It's over 2 months now. For over 2 months, we've been in this problem in pandemic, and we should be increasing our istighfar and our tasbihat more and more over here right now, because this is the only way we can get out of this. No one can get us out of coronavirus except the tasbihat and the istighfar to Allah, because Allah is the one who can change the ahwal and conditions of the thing. 50, Allah says, فَاجْتَبَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَجَعَلَهُ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ, and Allah chose him, meaning Yunus and made him from the righteous. 51, وَإِنْ يَكَادُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَيُزْلِقُونَكَ بِأَبْصَارِهِمْ لَمَّا سَمِعُوا الذِّكْرَ وَيَقُولُونَ إِنَّهُ لَمَجْنُونَ. And indeed, those who disbelieve would almost make you slip with their eyes when they hear the message and they say, indeed, he is mad, meaning Rasulullah referring to him that he's mad. They want to make you go away from him. وَمَا هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And this Quran is nothing but a reminder to the worlds of what is coming in Akhirah. That's the end of Surah Qalam, Surah Noon, 68. Now we move on to the next Surah, Surah Haqqa, Surah 69, in Juz 29. Haqqa is the name of the day of Qiyamah, day of judgment. Yawm al-Qiyamah has many names, and one of the names is Haqqa. Haqqa means the reality, the inevitable reality. Another meaning of Haqqa is a thundering sound, like a blow sound like this, big. Because because a big blowing sound is like it will remind them of the reality on the day of judgment when the trumpet is blown, just like the other surah, Surah Qariya. Qariya is also a name of the day of judgment. So Allah says, reality, the inevitable reality, al-haqqa, ma al-haqqa, what do you know, what do you understand? Oh human being, what do you think of this haqqa? What is it? Wa ma adraka ma haqqa, and what do you think you know about this? Do you know anything what's going to happen on the day of judgment? You know that? Let me tell you, Allah is saying, let me tell you, كَذَّبَ ثَمُودُ وَعَادُ بِالْقَارِيَةِ. That is the day of judgment, the day of Qiyamah, about which Thamud and Ad denied, rejected, and they were struck by the striking calamity. They were punished for that. Meaning Allah is saying, oh, you Quraysh, do not deny the Qiyamah, Akhirah, otherwise you will be facing the same thing that Thamud and Ad faced. What happened? What did they face? Number 5. فَأَمَّا ثَمُودَ فَأُهْلِكُوا بِالطَّاغِيَةِ. For as for the Thamud, they were destroyed by the overpowering blast that came to them. وَعَمَّا عَادٌ فَأُهْلِكُوا بِرِيحٍ صَرْصَرٍ عَاتِيَةٍ. And Ad were destroyed by a screaming, violent, blowing wind that literally uprooted everything from their grounds. سَخَّرَ عَلَيْهِمْ سَبْعَ لَيَالٍ. How long was that wind to the people of Ad? Allah says in verse number 7, Surah what is this? سَخَّرَ عَلَيْهِمْ سَبْعَ لَيَالٍ. Allah imposed upon them for 7 nights and 8 days in succession, one after another. So you would see the people therein falling as if they were hollow trunks of palm trees. Big palm trees are falling down. That is how the people of Ad were just falling down. If you took an aerial view, فَهَلْ تَرَى لَهُم مِّن بَاقِيَةٍ. Do you see any of their remains today? No, it's all gone. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most supreme. وَجَاءَ فِرْعَوْنَ. And then Allah talks about Fir'aun now. وَجَاءَ فِرْعَوْنَ مِن قَبْلِ وَمِن قَبْلِهُ وَالْمُؤْتَفِكَاتُ وَالْبِالْخَاطِئَةِ. And the people of Pharaoh came before them, and the people of the overturned cities, the people of Thamud, and they also came with the sin. And overturned cities here refers to the people of Lut. They were stoned down, and this city was turned upside down. Number 10, فَعَصُوا رَسُولَ رَبِّهِمْ فَأَخَذَهُمْ أَخْذَةً رَابِيَةً. They disobeyed their messengers sent from their Lord, so he seized them with a seizure exceeding in severity. Number 11, إِنَّ لَمَّا طَغَى الْمَاءُ حَمَلْنَاكُمْ جَارِيًا. Indeed, when the water overflowed, we carried your ancestors in the sailing ship, referring to the Nuh al-Islam and the the storm of Nuh alayhi salam, لِنَجْعَلَهَا لَكُمْ تَذْكِرَةً وَتَعِيَ أُذُنٌ وَعِيَةٌ, so that we make for you a reminder in that ship and the flood that came to Nuh alayhi salam, and that you can give a conscious ear and be conscious of this thing and not do the same thing that their people did. فَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ نَفْخَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ, and when the horn is blown, the trumpet is blown by angel Israfil, one blast. The first blast, remember, it will be blown 2 times. We already covered that in the previous surahs. So the first blast is blown, and then everything starts falling apart, dying, perishing. وَحُمِدَ الْأَرْضُ وَالْجِبَالُ فَدُكَّتَ دَكَّةً وَاحِدَةً, and the earth and the mountains will be lifted up and leveled with one blow. That is the sign of Qiyamah coming up. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ وَقَعَتِ الْوَاقِعَةُ, on that day the resurrection will occur. وَانشَقَّتِ السَّمَاءُ فَهِيَ يَوْمَئِذٍ وَاحِيَةٌ, and the heaven will split apart from the top, and that is the day that is infirm. وَالْمَلَكُ عَلَى أَرْجَائِهِ, and the angels are at their edges for that day, waiting to start. وَيَحْمِلُ عَرْشَ رَبِّكَ فَوْقَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ ثَمَانِيَةٌ, and the throne of your Lord will be carried by 8 big, huge angels, bringing the throne of Allah to the day of judgment, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Number 18, يَوْمَئِذٍ تُعْرَضُونَ لَا تَخْفَى مِنْكُمْ خَافِيَةٌ, that day you'll be exhibited for the judgment, not hidden among you is anything concealed. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَا مُقْرَأُ كِتَابِيَهْ, and as for the person who will be given their book from the right hand, he will say, come, read my book, like a successful person, like in this dunya, when we achieve something, when we ace through an exam or test or get a degree, we tell everybody, graduation, celebration, oh, come, look, I made it, look, I'm a valedictorian, salutatorian, I'm a dean's list, etc. I am a 4.0 GPA. So that person, that same philosophy, Allah is saying that the successful people will be rejoicing and happy and saying, come, read my book, read. You want to see the answers I did? I got the best answers. Inni dhanantu anni mulaqin hisabiya, I knew very well that I will be meeting Allah and facing my hisab, facing my accountability. That is the key for their success, that they were always cognizant of Yawm al-Hisab, Yawm al-accountability, the day of accountability, that kept them in check, in balance. Every time there was deviation, every time there was a sin in front of them, they remembered that I have to give hisab to Allah, so they stayed back from that sin that was presented to them, tempted to them by Shaitan Iblis in dunya. فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ, then this person will be in a very pleasant life. فِي جَنَّةٍ عَالِيَةٍ, he will be in the garden of paradise. خُطُوفُ وَدَانِيَةٍ, he'll be picking up, from fruits over there nearby. كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا هَنِيًّا بِمَا أَسْلَفْتُمْ فِي الْأَيَّامِ الْخَالِيَةِ, go eat and drink with satisfaction, with happy desire, because of what you left behind in the past days. Meaning in dunya, you didn't get the best of the best. Dunya was dunya. But this is Jannah. Jannah is a bliss. Jannah is eternity. Jannah is a beauty. You will be having everything in Jannah. Nothing will be missing in Jannah. So Allah is reminding them in Haqqa here that, be happy in Jannah. وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ, now Allah shifts the discussion to the other group of people. This was the group of the people who were successful. What about the failures? Allah talks about them. وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِشِمَالِهِ, and then as for the person who was given his book from the left hand. See, the right, Allah refers to people who are successful, A grade students, and the failures, F people, are from the left, or from wara al-dhahri, as in another ayah in surah, Allah says, from behind their back. They're so shy that they want to take their books from behind their back, or if not, from the left. So Allah is saying, وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِشِمَالِهِ فَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُوتَ كِتَابِيَهْ. Subhanallah, it's amazing. It's amazing words of Quran. The description, the depiction is exactly like our children do, or we did when we were children. Remember what we did? When you, brothers and sisters, when we failed a test, when we failed an exam, or failed a marking period, or failed a semester or something, and we had the transcript, and it had all F, 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 D, 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 F, E, E, D, F. How the day we got the report card, recall that if you ever were like that. I don't know if everybody's like that, but recall the day you failed anything and how were you coming home. On that day you were coming home, oh my God, mom's gonna kill me, dad's gonna kill me, oh that belt, oh that shoe, oh my God, oh what's gonna happen. I wish I died before going to my home. I wish I never got my report card even. That's what every child, every student says coming from school on the bus. They're like crying and cheering. Oh no, I'm dead today. My dad's gonna just kill me. And that's exactly what this person is saying. That person on the day of judgment who gets the book from the left, he will say, yeah, laytani, woe be to me. Oh, it's so bad. Reality singing. Lam utakid. I wish I didn't get my book. Oh, get this book away. I don't want this report card. There are many children who tear up their report card or their transcript before they even reach home. On the bus, they just turn it. Some make it like a paper airplane, and they're playing with it. So like, shoo, go away. And there goes the report card. So mom and dad can't see it. This I'm talking about back in the old days. Now we have digital technology, and mom and dad can see it on your app, can see it on digital on the website, so you can't save it. But back in the days when you get the paper report card, people, there were kids. I remember in my class there were a lot of people. They will just rip it up. One guy even just molded it up like a ball and ate it inside. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "It's going in my stomach." I said, "Are you crazy? You're gonna get suffocated." And he swallowed it while we were in the bus ride going home. And I was like shocked. It's like, what is this guy, an animal? He ate his report card inside. So, and the next day I asked him in school, what happened? What did your mom and dad say? He said, nothing. They asked me, where's the report card? I said, it's in the bathroom. Go get it. And he got a big slap from his mom. He's like, are you joking? What do you mean in the bathroom? He said, yeah, I ate it, and now it's going to go in the bathroom. So you got to go to the flush and check it out from there. Unfortunately, this is back in the 70s we're talking about. There was no technology, digital age, so they couldn't check it on the website. So the mom and dad had to come back to the school and get it. Amazing description. Allah is saying the feeling you feel today in the world when you get a bad report card from your school, college, university, is exactly you'll be feeling insan. I hope not, we're not feeling, but I'm talking about those people who will be failures. They'll be feeling exactly the same way. Lam uta kitab. He's saying, I wish I didn't get my book. I don't want my book. Get it away. Get away. Angel, take away. Walam adri ma hisabi. I don't even know what is my hisab. What's my account? What's my account with Allah? I don't know, because I already got the signal, the sign that I'm getting from my left. Because those who got from right, the moment, brothers and sisters, the moment you get your book from right hand, whoosh, that's like a big sigh of relief. Thank God we made it. That's like a precursor. That's like a preview. Alhamdulillah, you're successful. You made it. You're successful. You pass. Just getting the book from the right hand on Day of Judgment is a big sigh of relief. The next steps and process will be easier. And getting the book from the left hand is like a death sentence. It's like, oh, doomed. ولم أدري ما حسابي. I don't know what my calculations is. Yeah, ليتها كانت القاضية. I wish death would have come to me. Like the students saying on the school bus, I wish I died before I see my mom and dad with the report card. ما أغنى عني مالية. And this person is cursing himself. Woe to me that my wealth has not helped me. I had so much money in dunya, and that money is no good today. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, I can't use that money. Halagani Sultania, gone from me is my authority. In dunya, I was so powerful. I had authority, I had everything. Today, I have no authority. I may have been the biggest king, the biggest dictator, biggest tyrant in dunya. I may have been Pharaoh, but today on Yawm al-Qiyamah, no power, no sultan, no authority will help, no money will help. And then the angels will be saying, فَخُذُوهُ غُلُّوا. So Allah will say to the angels, seize him and shackle him, put him in chains. ثُمَّ الْجَحِيمَ صَلُّوا. And then throw him in the hellfire with the shackles and the chains and the cuffs over there. 32. ثم في سلسلة ذرعها 70 ذراعا فاسلكوه. Then they will be into a long length of 70 cubits inserted in the chain that will be going to the Jahannam. إنه كان لا يؤمن بالله العظيم. Verily he did not believe in Allah the Most Great. ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. Nor did he encourage the feeding of the poor. Allah is saying that these people who didn't believe in Allah are also people who did not feed the poor. فليس له اليوم هاهنا حميم. There is nothing for him except and there's nothing for him on this day, any kind of devoted friend that can save him. There's no intercession, no pleading. وَلَا طَعَامٌ مِّن لَمٍ غِسْلِينَ. There is no food except from the discharge of the wounds that's coming. طَعَامٌ مِّن غِسْلِينَ is that you have a cut and the pus is coming out. That is their ta'am, there's food. So, Allahu Akbar. لَا يَأْكُلُهُ إِلَّا الْخَاطِئُونَ. No one will eat this pus from the injuries of that. Except the sinners. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَا تُبْصِرُونَ. So I swear by what you see. وَمَا لَا تُبْصِرُونَ, and what you don't see. إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. Verily this Quran is the word of the noble messenger coming from Jibreel alayhi salam. وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَاعِرٍ. And Rasul sallam is not a poet. قَلِيلًا مَا تُؤْمِنُونَ. Very few of you believe in him. وَلَا بِقَوْلِ كَاهِنٍ. And he is not at all a kahin, a fortune teller, a soothsayer. قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. Very few that you remember. تَنزِيلٌ مِّن رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Verily this Quran is a revelation from the Lord of the worlds. وَلَوْ تَقَوَّلَ عَلَيْنَا بَعْضَ الْأَقَاوِيلِ. And if Muhammad sallam made about it some false sayings, we would have seed him from the right hand. لَخَزْنَا مِنْهُ بِالْيَمِينِ ثُمَّ لَقَطَعْنَا مِنْهُ الْوَتِينَ. We would have cut him off from the wateen, the aorta of the neck. فَمَا مِنْكُم مِّنْ أَحَدٍ عَنْهُ حَاجِزِينَ. And there's none of you who could prevent us from him. وإنه لتذكرة للمتقين, and indeed the Quran is a reminder for the righteous. وإنا لنعلم أن منكم مكذبين, and indeed we know that among you are the deniers of the Quran. وإنه لحسرة على الكافرين, and indeed it will be a cause of regret upon the disbelievers on the day of judgment. وإنه لحق اليقين, and indeed it is the truth of certainty. فسبح اسم ربك العظيم, so glorify the name of your Lord the most great. And that's the end of Surah Haqqa, Surah 69. Now we have Surah 70. Surah 70 is Surah Ma'arij. Surah Ma'arij means the ascension, going up, which refers to the angels that are going up to the heavens every day as they are going up and down, changing guard. Every day there's thousands of angels coming down and going up and coming down and going up. We don't see them. They're up and down all the time with the affairs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillah ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most magnificent, most merciful. Number 1, ayah number 171. A person, a questioner asked about the punishment, when is it going to happen. This was one of the Quraysh who came and asked, so when is the Qiyamah, when is the Azab coming? And so he asked, so Allah is asking that Allah is saying that person who asks, let him hear this. On that day, there will be no preventer for the disbelievers from the punishment of the hellfire. Min Allah zil ma'arij, from Allah, who is the owner of the ascension and the highness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. تعرج الملائكة والروح, the malaika, the angels ascend up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the throne, and the ruh, meaning Jibreel Amin. إليه في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة, they go up to Allah subhanahu in a day which is the extent of 50,000 years. فصبرا فاصبر صبرا جميلا, and be patient with a gracious patience. إنهم يرونه بعيدا, indeed they see that the Qiyamah is very بعيد, very far away. ونراه قريبا, but we see that the Qiyamah is very, very close. يوم تكون السماء كالمهل, on the day of judgment, what will happen? The sky will become like a murky oil. وتكون الجبال كالعهن, and the mountains will become like wool. You know, like you could so light that start traveling just by the air. وَلَا يَسْأَلُ حَمِيمٌ حَمِيمًا, and no friend will ask on any other friend on that day of judgment. Everybody will be working. Everybody will be worried about themselves. نَفْسِي 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 يُبَصَّرُونَهُم, they'll be shown to each other. يَوَدُّ الْمُجْرِمُ لَوْ يَفْتَدِي مِنْ عَذَابِ يَوْمِئِذٍ بِبَنِيهِ, the criminal will wish on that day that he could be ransomed from the punishment of the day with by his children. وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَأَخِيهِ, and his wife and his brother. وَفَصِيلَةِ الَّتِي تُؤْوِيهِ, and his nearest a relative who can shelter him, meaning the person is looking for any kind of help from relatives and loved ones, but no one will help them on the day of judgment. No one has the capacity to help anyone on the day of judgment in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 14, وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ يُنْجِيهِ, and whoever is on the earth entirely, then you could save him. كَلَّا إِنَّهَا لَظَى, no, indeed it is a flame of hell, the fire. نَزَّعَةَ لِلشَّوَى, it is a remover of exteriors. You know, تَدْعُو مَنْ أَدْبَرَ وَتَوَلَّى, the fire will call upon those people who are trying to run away from it, and it will suck them back in. وَجَمَعَ فَعَوَى, and it will collect all of them together, which they hoarded in the dunya, it will collect it in the hellfire. This is regarding the hadith. Rasulullah, he said that the people who don't give zakat, or people who don't give charity here in dunya, they'll be thrown in the hellfire, and their money which they did not give for zakat and charity will be also with them in the hellfire, like animals, snakes and scorpions and spiders. It'll be around them on their body, and they'll say, I am your mal, I am your money, I'm your money that you did not spend in the path of Allah. So it's because these people did not spend in the path of Allah. Inna al-insana khuliqa halua, verily man has been created anxious. Iza massahu sharru jazua, if any harm afflicts him or any kind of hurt afflicts him, he becomes impatient and, starts yelling and shouting and screaming. And what's this? And when any good comes to them, any goodness touches the man, then he becomes manua, mana. He starts withholding, withholding money. Illa al-musallin, except the people who pray to Allah. They don't have these qualities of impatience and withholding and anxiety, anxiousness. Salah removes anxiety. Salah removes impatience in the person, because you are more patient with the prayer, salah itself. الذين هم على صلاتهم دائمون, those are the people who are always constant in their prayer. والذين في أموالهم حق معلوم, and they are the one who know. These are ayats which are similar to Surah Mu'minun about the quality of the believers. We talked about it. The first 11 ayats of Surah Mu'minun are similar to these ayats of Surah Ma'arij, describing the qualities of the believers. And they have وَالَّذِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ, and they know, these people, the believers who prayed regularly, they know that there is a fixed portion in their money for others also, meaning the relatives, the parents, the loved ones, and the poor and the needy. لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ, there's a portion in their money for the sa'il, for the questioner, the one who questions for money, who asks you or begs you for money. وَالْمَحْرُوم, and the one who's deprived, the one who does not ask you, but you have to go find out and give it to them. These are like white collar people, special people, or, who are shy to ask in front of anyone. وَالَّذِينَ يُصَدِّقُونَ بِيَوْمِ الدِّينِ, and those who believe in the day of recompense, the day of judgment. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ عَذَابِ رَبِّهِمْ مُشْفِقُونَ, and they are the one who are fearful of the punishment of their Lord. إِنَّ عَذَابَ رَبِّهِ غَيْرُ مَأْمُونٍ, really the punishment of your Lord, no one is going to be safe from it. Everyone is going to be afflicted from it. إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ, except whoever Allah says. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, and they are the people, the believers are the people who guard their private parts. إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُم, except with their wives or whatever their right hand possess. فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ, then they are not blamed for that if they use with them. فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ, but whoever seeks beyond these, then these hudud, beyond these limits, whoever seeks beyond that, they are going to be the transgressors. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ, and those who are fulfilling their trust and their promises. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِشَهَادَاتِهِمْ قَائِمُونَ, and those who are fulfilling their testimonies, their witnesses when they give to people. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَىٰ صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ, and they are the one who are always maintaining and guarding their prayer. They don't miss any prayer. أُولَٰئِكَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ مُكْرَمُونَ, these are the people who will be in the Jannah that is very, very honored and special for them. فَمَا لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا قِبْلَكَ مُهْطِعِينَ, and what is the matter with those who disbelieve, hastening away from you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anil yamin wa anil shimal, they run away from you in separate groups on the right and left. أَيَطْمَعُ كُلُّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ أَن يُدْخِلَ جَنَّةَ نَعِيمٍ, does every one of them think or aspire to enter the garden of pleasure or paradise? كَلَّا إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُم مِّمَّا يَعْمَلُونَ, no, indeed we have created them from that which they don't know. فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِرَبِّ الْمَشَارِقِ وَالْمَغَارِبِ إِنَّا لَقَادِرُونَ, so I swear by the Lord of the risings of the setting of east and west. I swear by the Lord of the east and west, and the rising and the going down. Inna laqadirun, verily we are able to do everything to you. Ala an nubaddila khayran minhum wa ma nahnu bimasbuqin, that we can replace them with a better than them, and we're not to be outdone. Then you replace this group of people with another group of people, and they'll be much better. فَذَرْهُمْ يَخُوضُوا وَيَلْعَبُوا, so leave them alone in vain and amusement than themselves that they are, so they will meet their day on the day of judgment that they'll promise. يَوْمَ يَخْرُجُونَ مِنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ سِرَاعًا كَأَنَّهُمْ إِلَى نُصُبٍ يُوفِضُونَ, on the day of judgment when they will emerge from their graves, rapidly as if they were toward an erected idol, hastening, rushing towards them. خَاشِيَةً أَبْصَارُهُمْ تَرْهَقُهُمْ ذِلَّةٌ, their eyes will be humble, humiliation will cover them. This is the day in which they had been promised, of the day of judgment. That's the end of Surah Ma'arij, Surah 70, and now we have Surah Nuh, Surah 71. Nuh, the whole surah is named Nuh because it talks about Nuh alayhi salam and what happened with his people. Although in a shorter version, the detail we already covered about the story of Nuh alayhi salam, Allah already explained that already in detail in Surah Hud and in other surahs also. But here Allah subhanahu mentions the whole surah by his name and telling us what happened with his people in a concise, summary way. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, most merciful, most beneficent. Verse number 171:1. Inna arsalna Nuhan ila qawmi an anzir qawmaka min qabli an ya'tihim adhabun alim. Indeed, we send Nuh alayhi salam to his people, saying, warn your people before there comes to them a painful punishment. Qala ya qawmi inni lakum nadhirun mubin. He said, oh my people, I am a clear warner to you. An a'budullah wattaqu watti'un, and fear, worship Allah and fear Him and follow and obey Him. And obey me and obey him. يَغْفِرْ لَكُم مِّن ذُنُوبِكُم. If you do that, he will forgive you your sins and delay you for a specified time. Meaning give you a chance and respite to seek repentance. Inna ajra Allah is ajal la yu'akhkhar. Really, the time of Allah when it comes, of the punishment of Allah when it comes, then it does not get delayed. لَوْ كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, if you only knew about this thing. قَالَ رَبِّ إِنِّي دَعَوْتُ قَوْمِي لَيْلًا وَنَهَارًا. Now Nuh alayhi salam returns to his Allah and telling Allah, complaining to Allah what his people did. Oh Allah, indeed I invited my people night and day, layla wa nahara, meaning he was working tirelessly day and night, 24 hours a day he was working, Nuh alayhi salam, to call his people. They're not listening to him. فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا, and my invitation did not increase them except in firara, in flight, meaning they would run away. Every time I call them, they go away. Every time I call them, they run away from me. Isn't that the same thing that our relatives do? If you have a relative who's not too much into deen and you start calling them, you start meeting them, they start running away from you. When you ask them, can you give an appointment? Can I come to meet? Oh, I'm very busy. Don't come to my house, because they know you're going to come there and start doing, da'wah to them and inviting them. So, this is the same thing. People did this to Nuh alayhi salam. They do to us also. We have our relatives and friends who cut us off, who don't want to meet us because they know that, if we meet this guy, he's going to just keep inviting us to Islam, and we want to just enjoy the world. Next, ayah number 7, Nuh alayhi salam says, وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ وَاسْتَغْشَوْا ثِيَابَهُمْ وَأَصَرُّوا وَاسْتَكْبَرُوا اسْتِكْبَارًا. He's saying, Ya Allah, every time I call them to forgiveness, to ask forgiveness for them, they brought their fingers in their ears, جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ, meaning they would mock at Nuh alayhi salam, he will insult him by saying that, oh, we don't want to listen to you. You keep saying what you want to say. We are going to put our fingers in our ears, acting as if we don't want to listen to you. And they would also cover their head and ears with their siyab, with their clothing, like they'll have some kind of big clothing on the back and bring it on top, wasarru, and then they persisted in this, wastakbaru, and they were arrogant, istakbara, very big, wide arrogance. Summa inni da'atum jihara, then I invited them in public, I invited them alone, and invited them publicly. Summa inni a'lantu lahum asrartu lahum israra, then I announced to them and confided to them secretly. فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرْ رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. I told them, ask forgiveness from your Lord, verily He is a forgiving Allah. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا, if He will shower down from the skies rain for you, as a gesture of forgiveness that He has forgiven you. يُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا, and He will increase you in wealth and children and provide for you gardens and provide for you rivers. مَا لَكُمْ لَا تَرْجُونَ لِلَّهِ وَقَارًا. What is wrong with you, O my people? Nuh alayhi salam saying that you don't attribute to Allah as the grandeur, as the respect and dignity that He deserves. وَقَدْ خَلَقَكُمْ أَطْوَارًا, when He has created you in stages. Why you're not giving respect to Allah when He is the one who created you in stages? أَلَمْ تَرَوْا كَيْفَ خَلَقَ اللَّهُ سَبْعَ سَمَاوَاتٍ طِبَاقًا, have you not seen that how Allah created the 7 heavens in different layers and perfectly symmetry? وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا, and He made in this world the moon as a reflected light and made the sun as a burning lamp. Well, scientific eye, Allah is saying that the moon is the reflection of the sun, which science only discovered in the last 100 years in the world today. Allah أنبتكم من الأرض نباتا, and Allah caused you to grow from the earth a progressive growth, meaning the agriculture that you grow in this earth is because of Allah. ثم يعيدكم فيها ويخرجكم إخراجا, then He will return you back into this earth and then extract you from this earth on the day of judgment again. والله جعل لكم الأرض بساطا, and Allah made for you the earth as expansive, spread out, that you can live easily. لتسلكوا منها سبلا فجاجا, that you may follow therein roads of passages. قال نوح ربي إنهم عصوني واتبعوا من لم يزده ماله وولده إلا خسارة. Nuh said, oh my Lord, indeed they have disobeyed me and followed him whose wealth and children will not increase him except in loss. ومكروا مكرا كبارا, and they conspired with an immense conspiracy against me. وقالوا لا تذرن آلهتكم ولا تذرن ودا ولا سواع ولا يغوث ويعوق ونسرا, and they said, never leave your gods and never leave Wad or Suwa or Yaghuth or Yauq or Nasra. These are the name of the idols that they used to worship. وَقَدْ أَضَلُّوا كَثِيرًا, and they were misled by many of them. وَلَا تَزِدْ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا ضَلَالًا, and my Lord, do not increase the wrongdoers except in error, if they are going in error. مما خطيئتهم أغرقوا فأدخلوا نارا فلم يجدوا لهم من دون الله أنصارا, because of their sins they were drowned and put into the fire, and they found not for themselves besides Allah any helpers. وقال نوح ربي لا تذر على الأرض من الكافرين ديارا. Nuh Islam is now making dua to Allah that, oh Allah, do not leave upon the earth anyone from among the disbelievers, because he was so frustrated with them that he became zich with them, that he wanted them to be just totally annihilated, and he made dua to Allah. So innaka in tadharhum yudhillu ibadak, he's saying, oh Allah, if you leave them alone here on this earth, they're going to just misguide and deviate your slaves continuously. وَلَا يَلِدُ إِلَّا فَاجِرٌ كَفَّارًا, and they will not beget except wicked people and disbelievers, meaning they will only give birth to more wicked people on earth and the population will grow. رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِمَنْ دَخَلَ بَيْتِيَ, oh Allah, forgive me and forgive my parents and whoever enters my house as a believer, and the believing men and women, and do not increase the wrongdoers except in destruction. That's the end of Surah Nuh. Now we have Surah Jinn, Surah 72, which is the 72nd Surah in the Quran. Surah Jinn, as you know, the word Jinn already is self-explanatory. It's talking about the other creation of Allah, the Jinn. And this whole surah is about the Jinn and their qualities and their features. And they're also a makhluk of Allah. And they also believe in Allah and pray and worship to Allah. They are also kafir jinns, the bad jinns, which do all kinds of bad things towards human beings. They conspire with humans to hurt the human beings, and sometimes the bad jinns, they enter into the human being. So a person gets possessed by the jinn, then you have to extract the jinn from the body. So all of that is part of it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. First ayah, number 1. قل أوحي إلي أنه استمر نفر من الجن فقالوا إن سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it has been revealed to me that a group of jinn listened and said, indeed we have heard an amazing Quran. Remember, Allah already mentioned about this event that happened after the Taif in the desert. Rasulullah was reciting Quran after Salat al-Fajr in the morning in the open desert, and a group of jinn came and started listening to it. That is mentioned already in Surah Ahqaf. We talked about it in detail over there. Yahdi ila rushd fa'amanna bih. This Quran guides to the righteousness, and we believe in that. Walam nushrik bi rabbina ahada, and we do not associate any partner with our Lord. This is the jinns saying, the good jinns. وَأَنَّهُ تَعَالَى جَدُّ رَبِّنَا وَمَا اتَّخَذَ صَاحِبَةً وَلَا وَلَدًا. And the Quran teaches that the exalted is the nobleness of our Lord, and He has not taken a wife nor a son, meaning God does not have a son nor does He have a wife. This is the jinn saying, وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ يَقُولُ سَفِيهُنَا عَلَى اللَّهِ شَطَطًا. And the foolish amongst us jinn have been saying that about Allah in excessive transgression, meaning they were saying bad things, that He has a son or things like that. وَأَنَّ ظَنَّ أَن لَن تَقُولَ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا. And we have thought that mankind and jinn would never speak about Allah a lie. وَأَنَّهُ كَانَ رِجَالٌ مِنَ الْإِنسِ يَعُوذُونَ بِرِجَالٍ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَزَادُوهُمْ رَهْقًا. This is the ayah that Allah is telling us, that the jinns and the human beings interact and conspire together to hurt and harm the creations of Allah on earth. And there were men from mankind who sought refuge in men from the jinn, so they increased them in burden. وَأَنَّهُمْ ظَنُّوا كَمَا ظَنَنْتُمْ أَنْ لَنْ يَبْعَثَ اللَّهُ أَحَدًا. And they had thought as you thought that Allah will not send for them any messenger. وَأَنَّا لَمَسْنَا السَّمَاءَ فَوَجَدْنَاهَا مُلِئَتْ حَرَسًا شَدِيدًا شُهُبًا. And we have sought to reach heaven, but found it filled with powerful guards and burning flames. وَأَنَّا كُنَّا نَأْخُذُ مِنْهَا مَقَاعِدَ السَّمْعِ. And we used to sit therein in positions for hearing, but whoever listens now will find a burning flame lying in wait for him. This is referring to the jinns trying to penetrate to the heavens, and the shooting stars by the angels. Allah is referring to that the jinns knew that they get hit and hurt by the angels when they try to listen what's happening up there. وَأَنَّ لَا نَدْرِي أَشَرٌ أُرِيدُ بِمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَمْ أَرَادَ بِهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ رَشَدًا. And we do not know whether evil is intended for those on earth or whether their Lord intends for them a right course. وَأَنَّ مِنَّا الصَّالِحُونَ مِنَّا دُونَ ذَلِكَ. And amongst the jinns are those who are righteous, amongst are those who are others, meaning they're not righteous. So we were divided over our ways. Both are in different ways. وَأَنَّ ظَنَّ أَن لَن نُعْجِزَ اللَّهَ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَن نُعْجِزَهُ هَرَبًا. And we become certain that there will be nothing that can cause failure to Allah on earth, nor can anything can escape from His flight in the heavens. وَأَنَّ لَمَّا سَمِعْنَا الْهُدَى آمَنَّا بِهِ. And then when we heard the guidance, meaning the Quran, we believed in it, and whoever believes in his Lord will not fear deprivation or burden. وَأَنَّ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ مِنَ الْقَاسِطُونَ. And amongst the jinn are us who are Muslims and submitting to Allah, and amongst us are unjust, unfair people, oppressive. And whoever has become Muslim, those have sought out the right course, meaning whichever jinn became Muslim, they are on the right path, on the right place. وَأَمَّا الْقَاسِطُونَ. And the bad jinns and the unjust jinns, they will be in hellfire as the fuel for the fire, like wood. 16. وَأَلَّا وَاسْتَقَامُوا عَلَى الطَّرِيقِ لَأَسْقَيْنَاهُم مَاءً غَدَقًا. And if they had remained firm on the straight path, we have given them abundant provision. لِنَفْتِنَهُمْ فِيهِ. That we were testing them in that thing. وَمَنْ يُعْرِضْ عَنْ ذِكْرِي رَبِّهِ فَيَسْلُكْهُ عَذَابًا صَعَدًا. And whoever turns away from the remembrance of his Lord, then he will be put into a very grave punishment. وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. And the masajid are for Allah, so do not invoke anyone besides Allah in those masajid. وَأَنَّهُ لَمَّا قَامَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ يَدْعُوهُ كَادُوا يَكُونُونَ عَلَيْهِ لِبَدًا. And that when the servant of Allah stood up supplicating him, they almost became about him a compacted mass. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَدْعُو رَبِّي وَلَا أُشْرِكُ بِهِ أَحَدًا. Say, O Muhammad, I only invoke my Lord and do not associate with him anyone. قُلْ إِنِّي لَا أَمْلِكُ لَكُمْ ضَرًّا وَلَا رَشَدًا. I say, indeed, I do not possess for you the power of harm or right direction. قُلْ إِنِّي لَنْ يُجِيرَنِي مِنَ اللَّهِ أَحَدٌ وَلَنْ أَجِدَ مِنْ دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. Indeed, there will be never protection for me from Allah, from anyone, if I should disobey, nor will I find other than Him, Allah, any refuge besides Him. إِلَّا بَلَاغًا مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرِسَالَتِهِ. But only a notification from Allah and His messengers, and whoever disobeys Allah and His messenger, then indeed for them is the fire of hell, they'll be abiding therein forever. حَتَّى إِذَا رَأَوْا مَا يُوعَدُونَ فَسَيَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ أَضْعَفُ نَاصِرًا وَأَقَلُّ عَدَدًا. The disbelief will continue until when they see that which they are promised, they will know who is weaker in helpers and helper than less in numbers, meaning in the Jahannam they'll realize that they are helpless. قُلْ إِنْ أَدْرِي أَقَرِيبٌ مَا تُوعَدُونَ أَمْ يَجْعَلُ لَهُ رَبِّي أَمَدًا. Say, I do not know if what your promise is near, or if my Lord will grant for it a longer period. عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ فَلَا يُظْهِرُ عَلَى غَيْبِ أَحَدًا. He is the knower of the scenes, of the unseen, and He does not disclose His knowledge of unseen to anyone. إلا من ارتضى من رسول فإنه يسلك من بين يديه ومن خلفه رصدا, except for those approved messengers from Allah. Indeed, Allah sends before His messenger behind him observers. ليعلم أن قد أبلغوا رسالة ربهم وأحاط بما لديهم وأحصى كل شيء عددا, so that they may know that they have conveyed the message of the Lord, and He has encompassed whatever is with them, and has enumerated all things in number for them. That's the end of Surah Jinn. Surah 72. Now we move on to Surah 73, Surah Muzammil. Muzammil means one who's cloaked up, who's wrapped up in a cloak, referring to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was wrapped up. Remember when he got the revelation in the Ghar Hira, he came home and he told Khadija, Zammiluni, Zammiluni, cover me up, wrap me up, because he was shivering and he was like having a fever and he was like distraught. Something unusual happened to him. So Allah is referring to that over here. Ya ayyuhal muzammil, or you wrapped up in clothing, qum al-layla qalila, get up in the middle of the night, or little, get up the whole night, or a little of that night. Nisfahu aw inqus minhu qalila, half of the night, or subtract a little bit from the half of that amount. Aw zid alayhi rattil Quran tartila, or increase more than half of the night, and recite the Quran in the night, and a measured recitation. Inna sanulqi alayka qawlan saqila, we are about to reveal upon you a very heavy word, meaning the wahi, the Quran of Allah. Inna nashiyat al-layl hiya ashaddu watwa muqila, indeed the hours of the night are more effective for the concurrence of the Quran upon the heart and mind of the person, and more suitable for words also. Meaning when the person recites Quran in the middle of the night, they understand more, they comprehend more, they absorb more, it penetrates more in the mind. That's what Allah is referring to. Inna laka fi nahari saban tawila, verily for you in the day is a prolonged occupation. You get tired in the day, but in the nighttime you come and remember Allah, and you pray to Allah, and you read the word and book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاذْكُرِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ وَتَوَكَّلْ إِلَيْهِ تَبْتِيلًا, and remember the name of your Lord and devote yourself to Him in complete devotion. رَبُّ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ فَاتَّخِذْهُ وَكِيلًا, He is the Lord of the East and the West. There is no deity except Him, so take Him as a disposer of your affairs. وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ وَاهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا, and be patient over what they say and avoid them with gracious avoidance. وَذَرْنِي وَالْمُكَذِّبِينَ أُولِي النِّعْمَةِ وَمَهِّلْهُمْ قَلِيلًا, leave me, Allah is saying to Rasulullah, leave me alone with the deniers, I'll take care of them, you don't worry about them. Of Muhammad sallam, those of we will allow them a small respite, a little bit, and then take them with the Caesar of punishment. Inna ladayna ankala wa jahima, indeed for us is the shackles and the hellfire that we will put these people in. Wa ta'amun za ghussatin wa adhabin alima, and food that chokes and a painful punishment. Yawma tarjifu al-ardu wal jibalu wa kanat al-jibalu kathir mahila, on the day of judgment when the earth and the mountains will converse and the mountains will become a heap of sand pouring down. Inna arsalna ilayka rasula, verily we have sent to you a messenger who was a witness upon you, just as we sent to Pharaoh a messenger. Fa'asa Fir'aun rasul, so but Pharaoh disobeyed the messenger, so we seized him with a seizure. فَكَيْفَ تَتَّقُونَ إِن كَفَرْتُمْ يَوْمَ يَجْعَلُ الْوِلْدَانَ شِيبًا, and how can you fear if you disbelieve a day which will make the children white-haired, meaning that day of judgment will make people so quickly mature and become old because of the stress. That is one thing we understand from the Quran, that stress makes you grow older faster, and stress makes your hair grow faster because the stress hormones inside are secreted, and that makes the hair follicles all white. As-sama munfatirun bih, then the heaven will break apart from him. Ever is His promise fulfilled. Inna hadi tazkira, really this is a reminder. The Quran, faman sha'a ittakhadha ila rabbi sabila, whoever wishes, then they take a way to their Lord. 20. إن ربك يعلم أنك تقوم أدنى من ثلث الليل والنصف وثلث وطائفة من الذين معك. Allah knows very well, O Muhammad, that you stand in the prayer almost 2/3 of the night, or half of it, or 1/3 of it, and so do a group of those people with you also stand in the night prayer. And Allah determines the night and the day, and He has known that you will not be able to do it as has turned to your forgiveness. So decide what is easy for you from the Quran. He has known that there will be among you that those who are ill, and the others are traveling throughout the land seeking from the bounties of Allah, and others fighting in the cause of Allah. So decide what is easy from it, and establish the prayer and give zakat, and loan Allah a goodly loan, and whatever good you put forward for yourselves, you will find it with Allah. It is better and greater in reward, and seek forgiveness from Allah. Indeed, Allah is the forgiving and merciful. That's the end of Surah Muzammil. Now we move on to Surah Mudaththir, Surah 74, in Juz 29. We continue. Mudaththir means the one that is covered up with a garment, like a comforter or something. So Allah referring, and that's referring to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya al-Mudaththir, or you wrapped up in a garment. Qum fa'andir, get up and warn. meaning no more sitting down now. It's time to work for Allah and start the mission of prophecy to the people. وَرَبَّكَ فَكَبِّرْ, and as you are warning people, glorify your Lord, meaning increase your, this means that if you are in a position of responsibility and authority, you need to pray Allah to more, you need to remember Allah more, you need to glorify Allah more so that He can make your responsibility easier. وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ, and your clothing will purify. وَالرُّجْجَ فَاهْجُرْ, and the uncleanness will be avoided. And وَلَا تَمْنُنْ تَسْتَكْثِرْ, and do not confer a favor to acquire more. وَلِرَبِّكَ فَاصْبِرْ, and be patient to your Lord. فَإِذَا نُقِرَ فِي النَّاقُورِ, and when the trumpet is blown in the trumpet, فَذَلِكَ يَوْمِئِذٍ يَوْمٌ عَسِيرٌ, that is the day, it will be a difficult day. عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ غَيْرُ يَسِيرٌ, it will be difficult for the disbelievers on that day, it will not be easy for them. ذَرْنِي وَمَنْ خَلَقْتُ وَحِيدًا, so leave me with the one I created alone, meaning He'll take care of the non-believers. وَجَعَلْتُ لَهُ مَالًا مَمْدُودًا, and to whom I granted those extensive wealth, وَبَنِينَ شُهُودًا, and children present, وَمَهَّدْتُ لَهُ تَمْهِيدًا, and spread before him easing his life. ثُمَّ يَطْمَعُ أَنْ أَزِيدَ, then he desires that I should add more. كَلَّا إِنَّهُ كَانَ لِآيَاتِنَا عَنِيدًا, no, indeed he was for our verses very, very stubborn and rigid and disobedient. سَأُرْهِقُهُ صَعُودًا, we will cover him with an arduous torment. إِنَّهُ فَكَّرَ وَقَدَّرَ, indeed he thought and then deliberated. فَقُتِلَ فَكَيْفَ قَدَّرَ, so he may be destroyed because of his thinking that he did. ثُمَّ قُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ, then he may be destroyed for how he deliberated about all those things that he did not deliberate the right thing and become Muslim. ثم another, then he considered again. ثم عبس وبصر, then he frowned and scowled. ثم أدبر واستكبر, then he turned back and became arrogant. فقال إن هذا إلا سحر يُثَرَ, and then he said that this is nothing but a magic imitated from others, referring to the Quran. إن هذا إلا قول بشر, this is not but the word of a human being. سأصليه سقر, I will drive him into Saqar, which is the name of the hellfire. وما أدراك ما سقر, and what do you know what is a سقر؟ لا تبقي ولا تذر, it will, nothing remains in there, and leaves will be not over there easy, will be burned. لوحة للبشر, blackening of the skins because of the burning of the skins. عليها تسعة عشر, there are 19 angels over there guarding the angel and guarding the hellfire towards it. وما جعلنا أصحاب النار إلا ملائكة, and we have not made the keepers of the fire except angels, meaning angels are guarding the hellfire. وما جعلنا عدتهم إلا فتنة, and we have not made their number except that it is a trial for those who disbelieve. للذين كفروا ليستيقن الذين أوتوا الكتاب ويزداد الذين آمنوا من إيمانهم, that those who were given the scripture will be convinced, and those who have believed will increase in faith. And those who were given the scripture and the believers will not doubt that those in whose hearts is hypocrisy and disbelief will say, what does Allah intend by this example? Thus does Allah leave astray whom He wills and guides whom He wills, and none knows the soldiers of your Lord except Him. And mention of the fire, remind them of the fire, it is not but a reminder to humanity. Kalla wal qamar, no, by the moon. Wal layl is adbar, and the night when it departs. Was subh is asfar, and the morning when it brightens. Inna lahid al kubar, indeed the fire is one of the greatest afflictions coming to people. Nadhirun al bashar, it is a warning to humanity. Liman sha'a minkum yataqaddama wa yata'akhkhar, to whoever wills amongst you to proceed or to stay behind. Kullu nafsin bima kasaba rahina, every soul will have what he has earned and retained in that day. إلا أصحاب اليمين, except the companions of the right, في جنات يتساءلون, they'll be in gardens asking each other, عن المجرمين, about the criminals. ما سلككم في سقر, they'll be asking the criminals, what happened, what led you to the Saqar, the hellfire? قالوا لم نكن من المصلين, they will respond back from the hellfire saying, we were not amongst the people who prayed in the dunya. ولم نكن نطعم المسكين, and we were not among those people who fed the poor people, although we heard about that. وَكُنَّا نَخُوضُ مَعَ الْخَائِضِينَ, and we used to enter into vain discourse with those who engage in it. وَكُنَّا نُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ, and we used to deny the day of recompense, day of judgment. حَتَّى أَتَانَا الْيَقِينُ, until there came to us certainty, which is death. Death came with certainty. فَمَا تَنْفَعُهُمْ شَفَاعَةُ الشَّافِعِينَ, so there will be no benefit from them, any intercession of the intercessors. فَمَا لَهُمْ عَنِ التَّذْكِرَةِ مُعْرِضِينَ, there is nothing for them on that day. There will be a reminder turning them away. كَأَنَّهُمْ حُمُرٌ مُسْتَنفِرَةٌ, as if they were alarmed donkeys, فَرَّتْ مِنْ قَسْوَرَةٍ, fleeing from a lion. بل يريد كل امرئ منهم أن يؤتى صحفا منشرة, but every person among them desire that he would be given a scripture spread about him. كلا بل لا يخافون الآخرة, no, but they do not fear the hereafter. كلا إنها تذكرة, no, indeed the Quran is a reminder. فمن شاء ذكر, then whoever wills remembers it. وما يذكرون إلا إن يشاء الله, and they will not remember except that Allah wills them to remember. He is worthy of fear and adequate granting forgiveness to them. That's the end of Surah Mudaththir. Now we move on to Surah Qiyamah, the 75th surah in the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most beneficent. لا أقسم بيوم القيامة. I swear by the day of judgment. ولا أقسم بنفس اللوامة. And I swear by the blaming soul, the self-reproaching soul. أيحسب الإنسان أن لن نجمع عظاما. Does man think that we will not assemble their bones? بل قادرين على أن نسوي بنانا. No, we are even able to proportion their fingertips. You know, the finger impressions, the thumb impression, fingerprints will be made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what you're talking about not being able to bring them back in life, He can bring the exact same fingerprint back to the people on the day of judgment. But man desires to continue in sin. Man asks, when is the day of judgment? So when the vision is dazzled, and the moon is darkened, and the sun and moon are joined together, submerged together. يقول الإنسان يومئذ المفر. On that day, that is the day of judgment, insan will say, where is the place of escape? أين المفر? Where can I go away? Where can I save myself from this qiyamah that's coming? كلا لا وذر. No, there's no refuge on this day. There's no one that can help you, save you. إلى ربك يومئذ المستقر. To your Lord is the day, on that day, permanent walking towards it. ينبأ الإنسان يومئذ بما قدم وأخر. Allah will inform insan on that day what did he send ahead for tomorrow and what he kept back. بل الإنسان على نفسه بصيرة. But insan is himself a witness upon his own actions. ولو ألقى معاذيره. Even if he is giving excuses, he himself is still a witness to himself. لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به. Do not move your tongue, O Muhammad, to hasten the recitation of Quran. إن علينا جمعه وقرآنه. Indeed, upon us is a collection in the heart, and to make it possible recitation. فإذا قرأناه فاتبع قرآنه. So when we have recited it through Jibreel Islam, then follow its recitation. ثم إن علينا بيانا. Then upon us is the clarification to you. كلا بل تحبون العاجلة. No, but you love the immediate. وتذرون الآخرة, and leave the hereafter. فوجوه يومئذ ناظرة. Some faces on that day will be radiant, glowing with light. إلى ربها ناظرة. They're looking at their Lord on the day of judgment. وجوه يومئذ باسرة. And there are some faces on that day that they are, debased, or they're insulting, humiliating. تظن أن يفعل بها فاقرة. Are you expecting that they'll be done something to breaking their back? Meaning, you think that they have, become so poor or something, or their back is broken. That's why their face is like that. But no, كلا إن إذا بلغت التراقية. No, when the soul reaches the collarbones, the soul is being extracted from the body and reaches up to the bone. وقيل من راق. And it is said to them that who will cure him? وظن أنه الفراق. And he is dying. The dying person realized that he is about to separate from this body. The body is going to be leaved. وَالْتَفَتُ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ. And his leg is upon his leg. As the body is dying, as the soul is extracting one leg in sand. This is human nature. If you ever see a dying person, he'll put his leg on another leg as the soul is being extracted from the from the root, from the body. إِلَى رَبِّكَ يَوْمَ الْمَسَاقُ. To your Lord is the day, on that day, the procession. فَلَا صَدَّقَ وَلَا صَلَّى. He is a disbeliever and did not believe. He disbelieves and did not pray. وَلَكِنْ كَذَّبَ وَكَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. And he denied and turned away. ثُمَّ ذَهَبَ إِلَى أَهْلِهِ يَتَمَطَّى. And then he went to his people, swaggering in pride. أَوْلَكَ فَأَوْلَى. Woe be to you, woe be to you. ثُمَّ أَوْلَكَ فَأَوْلَى. Woe be to you, woe be to you, on that person. أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانُ يُتْرَكَ سُدًى. Does man think that we will leave them neglected? أَلَمْ يَكُنْ نُطْفَةً مِّن مَنِيٍّ يُمْنَى. Doesn't he remember, man, that we created him from a sperm, from semen emitted? ثُمَّ كَانَ عَلَقَةً فَخَلَقَ زَوْجَهُ. Then he was a clinging like cloth, and that Allah created his form and proportioned him. فَجَعَلَ مِنْهُ زَوْجَيْنِ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى. And then Allah made from that clinging cloud, two mates, male and female. أَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ بِقَادِرٍ عَلَى أَنْ يُحْيِيَ الْمَوْتَى. Is not that the Creator able to give life to the dead? That's the end of Surah Qiyamah, which is talking about the Day of Judgment. Now we move on to next Surah, Surah 76, Surah Insan, or another name of the Surah is Surah Dahr, or time, because Allah talks about time, that time is destroying everybody. Everybody's becoming loser because of the time passing by. And another name is Insan, because Allah talks about Insan, human being, that isn't it about time that human beings start believing in Allah and start repenting to Allah. 76, number 1, Bismillah ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, most merciful, most beneficent. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيء مذكورا. Both the names are mentioned here, Dahr and Insan, in this first ayah, and that's why this surah is called that. Has there not come to a man a period of time when he was nothing even mentioned? Meaning, doesn't Insan recall or reflect upon and ponder that this Insan was never mentioned in the world? Nobody knew about it. Your wujud, your existence, your hasti was not there. Nobody knew. Now that this insan becomes so proud and arrogant and says, look, my this, my that, my that. Allah is saying, you were nothing, zero. Nobody even remembered you. And when you'll be gone from this dunya, still nobody remember you. Years pass by, decades pass by, 100 years pass by, nobody remembers unless you did something that people benefit, like Imam Bukhari, Imam, all the Imams and of Hadith and Imams of Fiqh. People remember them still today because of their work. Otherwise, they are just any ordinary person. There are so many people died during those times we don't know. They are ancient history. So Allah is referring to that. Look, time is very ruthless. Time has no mercy. Time makes people forget everybody. Number 2, إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِن نُطْفَةٍ أَمْشَاجٍ نَبْتَلِيهِ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. Indeed, we created man from a sperm drop mixture, and we may try him, and we made him hearing and seeing. إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ سَبِيلًا إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. We guided him to the way, either he's grateful or he's ungrateful. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَلَاسِلَ وَأَغْلَالًا وَسَعِيرًا. We have prepared for the disbelievers chains and shackles and a blaze. إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ يَشْرَبُونَ مِنْ كَأْسٍ كَانَ مِزَاجُهُ كَافُورًا. Indeed, the righteous will drink from a cup of wine whose mixture is kafur, a special wine drink in Jannah, inshallah, for all of us. عَيْنًا يَشْرَبُ بِهَا عِبَادُ اللَّهِ يُفَجِّرُونَ تَفْجِيرًا. A spring of water which the righteous servants of Allah will drink, they will make it gush forth in force. يُوفُونَ بِالنَّذْرِ وَيَخَافُونَ يَوْمًا كَانَ شَرُّهُ مُسْتَطِيرًا. They are those who fulfill their woes and fear a day of whose evil will be widespread. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. And these people in Jannah are the ones who are feeding the people out of their love for the needy and the orphan and the captive. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. We feed you for the reward from Allah. لَا نُرِيدُ مِنكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We don't want from you any reward or gratitude. إِنَّا نَخَافُ مِن رَبِّنَا يَوْمًا عَبُوسًا قَمْطَرِيرًا. We fear from our Lord a day that is very, very distressful and austere, that it will bring people to their knees. فَوَقَاهُمُ اللَّهُ شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ وَلَقَّاهُ نَظْرَةً وَسُرُورًا. So Allah will protect them from the evil of the day and give them radiance and happiness. وَجَزَاهُم بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةٌ وَحَرِيرًا. And the reward for them being patient in the dunya is garden of paradise with silk garments. مُتَّكِئِينَ فِيهَا عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ. They'll be reclining therein on adorned couches. لَا يَرَوْنَ فِيهَا شَمْسًا وَلَا زَمْهَرِيرًا. They will not see any burning sun or feeling cold in those couches in this place in Jannah. وَدَانِيَةٍ عَلَيْهِمْ ظِلَالُهَا وَذُلِّلَتْ قُطُوفُهَا تَذْلِيلًا. And near above them are its shades and fruits to be picked, to be lowered in compliance. وَيُطَافُ عَلَيْهِمْ بِآنِيَةٍ مِّن فِضَّةٍ وَأَكْوَابٍ كَانَتْ قَوَارِيرًا. And they'll be circulated among them vessels of silvers, and cups have been created from glass. قَوَارِيرًا مِّن فِضَّةٍ وَقَدَّرُوهَا تَقْدِيرًا. And clear glasses made of silver, which they will be determined in measure. وَيُسْقَوْنَ فِيهَا كَأْسًا كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا زَنجَبِيلًا. And they'll be given a drink of cup of wine whose mixture is of ginger. عَيْنًا فِيهَا تُسَمَّى سَلْسَبِيلًا. It is a fountain within paradise named Salsabil. وَيَطُوفُ عَلَيْهِمْ وِلْدَانٌ مُخَلَّدُونَ إِذَا رَأَيْتَهُمْ حَسِبْتَهُمْ لُؤْلُؤًا مَنْثُورًا. They'll circulate among them young boys made eternal, which when you see them, you would think that they're as beautiful scattered pearls, like the woman Hur and then the Ghilman, young boys, they'll be there. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ رَأَيْتَ نَعِيمًا وَمُلْكًا كَبِيرًا. And when you look there in paradise, you'll see a pleasure and great dominion. عَالِيَهُمْ ثِيَابُ سُنْدُسٍ خُضْرٍ وَإِسْتَبْرَقٍ وَحُلُّوا أَسَاوِرَ مِن فِضَّةٍ وَسَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ شَرَابًا طَهُورًا. Upon the inhabitants will be green garments of fine silk and brocade, and they'll be adorned with bracelets of silver, and their Lord will be giving them a purifying drink in Jannah. إِنَّ هَذَا كَانَ لَكُمْ جَزَاءً وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا. Verily, indeed, this is your reward today, and your effort has been appreciated in Jannah. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ تَنزِيلًا. Verily, we have sent down to you, Muhammad, the Quran progressively. فَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ. So be patient for the decision of your Lord. وَلَا تُطِعْ مِنْهُمْ آثِمًا وَكَفُورًا. And do not obey from amongst them any sinner or ungrateful disbeliever. وَاذْكُرِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا. And remember the name of your Lord in the morning and the evening. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَاسْجُدْ لَهُ. And from the night prostrate to him, meaning tahajjud. وَسَبِّحُ لَيْلًا طَوِيلًا. And give him and exalt and glorify him in a long night. إِنَّ هَؤُلَاءِ يُحِبُّونَ الْعَاجِلَةَ. Verily, these disbelievers love the immediate thing. وَيَذَرُونَ وَرَاءَهُمْ يَوْمًا ثَقِيلًا. And they leave behind them a grave day, a day of judgment. نحن خلقناهم وشددنا أسرهم. We have created them and strengthened their forms, and when we will, we can change their likenesses in complete alteration. إن هذه تذكرة. Verily, this is a reminder, the Quran. فمن شاء اتخذ ربي سبيلا. Then whoever wills, then can take to this Lord away. وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله. And you will not accept that which, and you will not will whatever Allah wills for you. Indeed, Allah is ever knowing and wise. يدخل من يشاء برحمته. He will enter whoever He wants in His mercy. والظالمين أعد لهم عذابا أليما. And the wrongdoers, Allah has prepared for them a very painful punishment. That's the end of Surah Insan or Surah Dar. Last surah of this juz 29, is Surah Mursalat 77. Mursalat refers to the winds that are blowing and gusting forth, and this is the 77th surah in the Quran. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most merciful, most beneficent. Wal mursalat urfa, by those winds that send forth in gusts. Fal asifati asfa, and the winds that blow violently. Wal nashrati nashra, and the winds that spread the clouds out on the skies. فالفارقات فرقا, and those angels who bring criterion. فالملقيات ذكرا, and those angels that deliver a message. عذرا أو نذرا, a justification or warning. إنما توعدون لواقع, indeed what your promise is going to occur. فإذا النجوم طمست, when the stars are obliterated. وإذا السماء فرجت, and the heavens are opened up. وإذا الجبال نصفت, and the mountains are blown away. وإذا الرسل أقتت, and the messenger's time has come. لأي يوم أجل, for what day was it postponed? يوم الفصل, the day of judgment. وما أدراك ما يوم الفصل, and what do you know is the day of judgment? ويل يوم المكذبين, woe to on that day to the deniers on that day of judgment. ألم نهلك الأولين, did we not destroy the former people? ثم نتبع الآخرين, then we follow them with the later ones that came after them. كذلك نفعل بالمجرمين, this is how we deal with the criminals. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be to the deniers. ألم نخلقكم من ماء مهين, did we not create you from a liquid disdain? فجعلناه في قرار مكين, that we placed it in a firm lodging place. إلى قدر معلوم, to a known extent. فقدرنا فنعم القادرون, then we determined it or portioned it, and such an excellent portion we can do. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be to the deniers. ألم نجعل الأرض كفاتا, did we not make the earth a container? أحياء وأمواتا, living and the dead. وجعلنا فيها رواسي شامخات واسقيناكم ماء فراتا, and we placed therein lofty firmly set mountains, and have given you to drink sweet water. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be to the day to the deniers on that day. إن تلقوا إلى ما كنتم به تكذبون, they'll be told, proceed to that which you used to deny, meaning the day of the hisab, the accountability. In تلقوا إلى ظل شعب, proceed to the shadow of smoke, having 3 columns. لا ظليل ولا يغني من اللهب, there'll be no cool shade availing not against the flame. إن ترمي بشرر كالقصر, indeed it throws sparks of huge fortresses on them. كأنه جمالة صفر, and if they were yellowish black camels. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be to the deniers. هذا يوم لا ينطقون, this is the day they will not speak. ولا يؤذن لهم فيعتذرون, nor will it be permitted for them to make an excuse on that day of judgment. So woe be to the deniers. هذا يوم الفصل جمعناكم والأولين, this is the day of judgment, we have assembled you and the former peoples also that came before you. فإن كان لكم كيد فكيدون, so if you have a plan, and then plan it against me, against Allah on this day, but you cannot do it because Allah is all powerful. ويل يوم المكذبين, again woe be to the deniers on that day. إن المتقين في الظلال وعيون, indeed the righteous will be among the shades and springs. وفواكه مما يشتهون, and fruits whatever they desire. كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما كنتم تعملون, eat and drink with satisfaction for what you used to do. إن كذلك نجزي المحسنين, indeed thus we reward the doers of the good. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be on that day to the deniers. كلوا وتمتعوا قليلا إنكم مجرمون, eat and enjoy yourselves a little, indeed you are criminals. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be to the deniers. وإذا قيل لهم اركعوا لا يركعون, and when it is said to them bow in prayer, they do not bow. ويل يوم المكذبين, woe be to them on the day with the deniers. فبأي حديث بعده يؤمنون, then which of the statements of the Quran will they disbelieve? That's the end of Juz 29. And Juz 29 is finished, inshallah. Let's start with Juz 30 because it's very long, and tomorrow we'll have very little time, so we need to cover up. Tomorrow is Friday also, so we need to finish up. And Juz 30 has a lot of surahs, so it might take more time, so let's catch up with that today, inshallah. These are all Makki surahs in this Juz 30, Juz Amma, Juz Naba, Juz Amma, that starts off with Amma Tasa'alun, and Naba means news or information, and this is the news of the Day of Judgment, which the Quraysh were disputing about and fighting about, discussing and debating, and therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to that. Amma Tasa'alun, about which are they asking each other? Anin Naba al-Azim, they're asking about the great news, alladhim fi mukhtalifun, about which they are in disagreement. Kalla sa'alamun, no, they will certainly get to know. Summa kalla sa'alamun, no, certainly they'll get to know. Alam najil arda mihada, did we not make the earth as a resting place, like a flattened out? Wal jibala awtada, we make the mountains as pegs that they're holding the earth together with the G-force. Wa khalaqnakum azwajan, we created you in pairs. Wa ja'alna nawmakum subata, we made you sleep a means of rest, refreshing. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا, we made the night as a clothing. وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا, we made the day for a livelihood, for earning, risk. وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا شِدَادًا, we made above you 7 strong heavens, 7 strong skies. وَجَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَهَاجًا, we made for you a burning lamp, the sun. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَعْصِرَاتِ مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا, we made from the rain clouds pouring water, sky rains. لِنُخْرِجَ بِهِ حَبًّا وَنَبَاتًا, so that we can bring forward from the ground, grains and vegetation and agriculture. وَجَنَّاتٍ أَلْفَافًا, and gardens of entwined growth. إِنَّ يَوْمَ الْفَصْلِ كَانَ مِيقَاتًا, indeed the day of judgment is a fixed appointed time. يَوْمَ يُنفَخُ فِي الصُّورِ فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا, on the day when the trumpet will be blown, and you will come forth in multitudes. وَفُتِحَتِ السَّمَاءُ فَكَانَتْ أَبْوَابًا, and the skies will break apart open, and it'll like as if it is doors one after another. Tuck, 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 tuck. Doors are opening on the skies on the day of judgment. That's what it's gonna look like. وَصُيِّرَتِ الْجِبَالُ فَكَانَتْ سَرَابًا, and the mountains will be removed like it's a mirage. All the mountains gone, vanished away from everywhere. Inna Jahannama kanat mirsada, verily indeed the hell was lying in wait for those people, the disbelievers. لِلطَّاغِينَ مَآبًا, for the transgressors, a place of return. لَابِثِينَ فِيهَا أَحْقَابًا, they'll be remaining there for ages. لَا يَذُوقُونَ فِيهَا بَرْدًا وَلَا شَرَابًا, they will not taste in Jahannam any coolness or any drink. إِلَّا حَمِيمًا وَغَسَّاقًا, they'll taste the scorching, boiling hot water, and as غساقة, a foul kind of smelly kind of drink. جزاء وفاقة, an appropriate recompense. إنهم كانوا يرجون حسابا, indeed they were not expecting an account with us on the day of judgment. وكذبوا بآياتنا كذابا, and they denied our signs totally in denial. وكل شيء أحسنه كتابا, but we kept everything numbered in writing. فذوقوا فلن نزيدكم إلا عذابا, so taste the penalty of this punishment, and never will we increase you except in torment. إن المتقين مفازا, indeed the righteous will have a great attainment. حدائق وأعنابا, they'll have gardens and grapevines. وكواعب أترابا, full breast, and they'll have companions of equal age, fully blown into their body, in their full blown body, with wide chests. وكأسا دهاقا, and a full cup. لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا, no ill speech will be they hearing in there, nor falsehood in Jannah. جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا, it is a reward from your Lord, a generous gift made for you for your hisab, for your accountability. رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملك منه خطابا, the Lord of the heavens and the earth and whatever is in between them, the most merciful, they possess not from him any authority for speech. يوم يقوم الروح الملائكة صفا, on the day when the angels and the angels and Jibril Amin will be standing in straight lines, straight rows in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in obedience. لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن الرحمن وقال صوابا, no one will speak on that day except to whom Allah the most merciful gives permission, and he will say what is correct. ذلك يوم الحق, that is the day of truth, the day of truth. فمن شاء اتخذ ربه مآبا, then whoever wishes can take away to his Lord to return. إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا, verily we have warned you a near punishment on the day when a man will observe what his hands have put forward. يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا, and the kafir will say, I wish I was just dust and turab, meaning on this day of judgment, I wish I could be just a dust, meaning there'll be no accountability for me as a dust. That's Surah Naba, verse 78. Surah Naba now is 79. Surah Nazi'at, and 79. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, most beneficent. When Nazi'at the Gharqa, by those angels who extract with violence, meaning the soul from the body of the person. When Nashidat Nashta, those angels that extract the soul of the body with ease. Was-Sabihat Sabha, and those who glide as swimming. فالسابقات سبقا, and those who race with each other in race. وَالْمُدَبِّرَاتِ أَمْرًا, and those who arrange the matters in straight. وَيَوْمَ تَرْجُفُ الرَّاجِفَةُ, on the day when you will hear the horn and you will converge to as a creation will come back. تَتْبُهَ رَادِفَةً, you will follow it one after another. قُلُوبٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ وَاجِفَةٌ, hearts on that day will be trembling. أَبْصَارُهَا خَاشِعَةٌ, their eyes will be humbled. يَقُولُونَ إِنَّا لَمَرْدُودُونَ فِي الْحَافِرَةِ, they are presently saying, will we be indeed returned to our former state of life? أَإِذَا كُنَّا عِظَامًا نَخِرَةً, after we have been in decayed bones. قَالُوا تِلْكَ إِذًا كَرَّةٌ خَاسِرَةٌ, they say that then would be a losing return. فَإِنَّمَا هِيَ زَجْرَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ, it will be one big shout for them on the day of judgment. فَإِذَا هُمْ بِالسَّاهِرَةِ, and suddenly they will be alert upon the earth's surface. هَلْ أَتَاكَ حَدِيثُ مُوسَى, has the news of Musa reached to you? In إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى, when his Lord called upon him in the sacred valley of Tuwa. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى, go to Pharaoh because he has transgressed and disobeyed Allah. فَقُلْ هَلْ لَعَلَّكَ إِلَّا أَن تَزَكَّى, and tell him that would you want to purify yourself of your own, وَأَهْدِيكَ لِرَبِّكَ وَتَخْشَى, so that let me guide you to your Lord so you may fear him. فَرَاهُ الْآيَةُ الْكُبْرى, he showed him the greatest signs, فَكَذَّبَ وَأَسَفَ, but Pharaoh denied and disobeyed, ثُمَّ أَدْبَرَ يَسْعَى, and then he turned his back striving. فَحَشَرَ فَنَادَى, and he gathered his people calling out from the Bani Israel, قَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, and he said to them, I am your Lord. Remember, I was saying this many times in the previous previous surahs, that they will come in ayah where Allah says that Pharaoh said to the people, I am your Lord. Inni ana rabbukum al-a'la. فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى, I am your big Lord. Follow me, O Bani Israel, not the Lord of Moses. So when he said that, Allah took him with a big punishment. فَأَخَذَ اللَّهُ نَكَالَ الْآخِرَةِ وَالْأُولَى, Allah seized him with an exemplary punishment for the first and the last generations. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَعِبْرَةً لِمَنْ يَخْشَى, verily in that is a warning for the people who wish to, and a lesson for the people who wish to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَأَنْتُمْ أَشَدُّ خَلْقًا أَمِ السَّمَاءِ, are you more difficult to create, O human being, or the skies? Banaha, that he has constructed, meaning skies are much bigger than you. If he can create the skies, then you are nothing. You can be recreated again anytime. رفع سمكها, رفع سمكها وسواها, he has raised its ceiling and proportioned it. وأغطش ليلها وأخرج ضحاها, and he has darkened its night and extracted its brightness. والأرض بعد ذلك دحاها, and after that he has spread the earth. أخرج منها ماءها ومرعاها, he extracted from its water and its pasture. والجبال أرساها, and the mountains set firmly. متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم, this is a provision for you and your cattle, your cows and animals. فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى, and when there comes to the great overwhelming calamity. طامة الكبرى is another name of Qiyamah, Day of Judgment. What will happen on that day? يوم يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى, on that day, Day of Judgment, insan will remember what he strove for in this dunya. وبرزت الجحيم لمن يرى, and the hellfire will be exposed to them or brought near to them on the Day of Judgment so that they can see the hellfire. فأما من طغى, and so for that person who transgressed the boundaries of Allah, وأثر الحياة الدنيا, and he preferred the life of this world, فإن الجحيم هي المأوى, indeed the hellfire will be an abode, a refuge for him on that day. وأما من خاف مقام ربي ونهى النفس عن الهوى, but as for the person who feared his Lord and feared the maqam of his Lord. Maqam Rabbi means his authority, as the one who remembers the authority of Allah. وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى, and he saved his soul, nafs, ruh, from hawa, from the desires, from the inclination of unlawful temptation desires. That means Allah is saying the formula for success, the formula for Jannah is to remove your nafs from the likingness of the desires and pursuing your desires and chasing your temptations and wishes and wants. Then you will get to Jannah faster and easier. فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى, verily paradise is for him a refuge. يَسَأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاهَا, they ask you, Muhammad, when is the hour coming? When is the arrival of the hour of Qiyamah? فِيمَا أَنْتَ مِنْ ذِكْرَى, you are not in any position to respond to them or answer them because you don't know anything about it. O Prophet ﷺ, إِلَى رَبِّكَ مُنْتَهَا, to your Lord is its finality. He knows only when the Qiyamah is coming. إنما أنت منذر من يخشى, you are only a warner for the one who wants to fear it. كأنهم يوم يرونها, just like as if they are seeing on that day, the Day of Judgment. كأنهم يوم يرونها لم يلبثوا إلا عشية ضحاها, it will be on the day they see that they have not remained in this world for an afternoon or a morning, and that's it. Meaning they were just there for a small amount of time. That's what they'll feel like. It was a blink of an eye in the dunya, and that is it. That's the end of Surah Naziyat, Surah 79. We'll stop here, inshallah, now and continue tomorrow from Surah number 80, Surah Abasa. Surah Abasa is the 80th Surah. It's about the one who, it's about the Prophet frowning in front of that blind man. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Jazakallahu khairan, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.